Alright, welcome everybody to another BDA Boxing transmission slash podcast slash whatever you want to call it. This is your friend and host, Mr. BDA, broadcasting to you live from the true north. My partner, King Bucho, will be here shortly. Before we get to anything, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat room. Roberto, Recognize the Matrix, Boxing Fairy Tale, Pavel, Team New York Boxing, and many more to come, I'm pretty sure. If you want to join us, you know the drill. Go to Google Hangouts and send us an instant message via the email address on the top of your screen. boxingdebate@hotmail.com. That's boxingdebate@hotmail.com. For anybody that's listening on Spreaker right now, don't forget that this is being streamed live on YouTube. So if you want to listen to the full version, go on over to youtube.com/BDA Boxing to catch the full episode. I want to thank everybody who's donated to Patreon and on the Super Chats. Every little tip counts, people. $1, $2. We're getting closer to that call-in show so that we can finally take phone calls from people. Don't forget to like, subscribe to BDA Boxing and BDA Live. We got a good thing going here, people. We got a lot of things going on. We just saw a very entertaining and I would say minor upset when Lee, well, actually it depends on how you look at it, minor, major. But a lot of people thought that Lee Selby was going to, myself included, Lee Selby was going to outbox Josh Warrington. And it turns out didn't quite happen that way. And the reason why I'm disappointed is because I'm thinking who... Actually, no, I'm not disappointed. I'm disappointed that I got it wrong. But then again, most people did. But there's a silver lining to all this, because Josh Warrington, I think, would make for more interesting fights than Lee Selby. Lee Selby is more of a boxer. I don't think he would have been as entertaining against some of the top featherweights out there in the world. But anyway, let's get to the fight. Josh Warrington, undefeated, took on Lee Selby, who only had one loss on his record. Both guys, the top two British featherweights in the world. And a lot of people, again, thought Selby was going to be the winner here because of his length, because of his boxing ability. I myself had picked him because I didn't think Josh Warrington was going to be able to outwork him for 12 full rounds. Well, turns out I was wrong. It was Warrington who not only broke the distance, he was able to walk through Selby's punches, he was able to stun him, he was able to back him up consistently. Lee Selby was bleeding. I know it was from headbutts, but you know how that looks. Judges score on blood, even if the blood stems from an illegal blow. So Selby drops to 26-2 with 9 knockouts. Meanwhile, Warrington, the older fighter, the younger fighter, 27 years old from the United Kingdom, more upside with his entertaining style. But he's only got 6 knockouts in his 27 wins. Well, anyway, we'll get to that later on. But I was surprised that there was a split decision. I don't know about you guys, but I was surprised. I thought Warrington did more than enough to win the fight. You know, if you want to give 4 rounds to Selby, I think that's the maximum you can give him. I thought Warrington was backing him up and, scoring the harder blows consistently throughout the fight. Let's see what people are saying in the chat room. Overhand says the Warrington versus Selby fight was awful to watch. Team New York Boxing says those cuts Selby had, oh boy, yeah, those were some bad cuts. Let me tell you something. There's nothing worse than getting cut early in the fight, because then you got to drudge for 12 rounds or 11 rounds, however rounds it may be, with a bad cut, blood all over your face. It can be distracting. It can hamper your vision. Boxing Fairy Tale, shout out to Boxing Fairy Tale, says, wow, phone calls from casuals. So BDA Boxing became the BDA Boxing voice. Listen, we're gonna take boxing calls because we're gonna have a good thing going here. We're gonna have people from in the hangout or usual suspects, and then once we get to the call-in show, we're gonna be able to take calls. And I'm pretty sure some of the guys we have on our hangout, we're a bunch of animals, by the way. See, I try to be the middle of the road kind of guy. because I want people to come on the show. I can't be fucking lambasting people left and right. But our hangout panelists, that's another story. They're free to do whatever they want. So it might make for some interesting type of shit, you know, them grilling the callers and me trying to defend the callers from more animal hangout panelists. Speaking of animal hangout panelists, we have one such animal, perhaps one of the rarest animals in the YouTube boxing community. We got Stu on the line.
I wasn't bad though.
I told you what's going to happen with Price. I told you he's going to be sleeping. I told you the ambulance is going to come. The oxygen mask is going to come out. I told you he's going to miss the main event. I told you all them things were going to happen.
That's right. The one, the only Stu. Stu, are you there?
Endangered species, Price. That's what animal I have.
Now you know I mean that as a compliment, right?
Of course, Bri, of course. Let me just get my charger. I'm just getting my charger to plug it in. Go on, crack on.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, so that's the same saying. We're gonna get to the call-in show. People overhand says it was the worst kind of fight, dirty, no one can punch, and both lack skill. I will say that's true. There was a lack of punching power here. Lack of punching power. That made it a little bit, you know, boring, I guess you could say. Because neither, and that's the other thing, Lee Selby, that's gotta be the worst thing. When you're a tall, lanky boxer like he is, and you're starting to get outworked, and you don't have the power to back the other guy up, nor do you have the skill to really outbox the other guy, nor do you have the one-punch knockout power to stop the other guy. That was just an awful case. Yeah. I mean, fight for Selby.
I've been saying it for a while about people that fighters that can't punch. When you're in trouble and you're in deep waters, and you need a bit of luck or something to drag you out of them deep waters, and you haven't got that, you can't pull a punch out of nowhere to win you the fight, then it's going to be a tough career for you. You know, that's why punches always. People love watching punches because no matter, they could get beat for 11 rounds, they've always got that chance where they can land that one clean shot. And the fight's changed. But Selby never looked like landing that clean shot. He never looked like hurting Warrington, did he?
Never. Warrington was walking through everything he threw.
Warrington's a very strong kid. And I told you that's what he'd do. He throws punches and bunches. He gets inside and he lets his hands go. I said that's what he'd do. I thought he was going to walk on to right hands, but he was very intelligent with his work. He wasn't just, he did rush in quite a lot. He was, you know, lunging in and that lot. I think that the range was a problem for him, but Selby sort of fought to his game plan. Selby sort of flew into range for him, sort of thing. Instead of boxing, he tried to fight a fighter. Selby did, and he got into range for Warrington. And when Warrington got him in his sights, he was letting his hands go 4 or 5 punches at a time. And when you're throwing 4 or 5 shots in the pocket, there's a couple that's going to land, aren't they? You know what I mean? So Selby was throwing single punches. He was lunging in with single punches, and he was so slow and lethargic, very slow and lethargic with his punches, that the time he'd actually got his feet set again, he took 2 or 3 shots. Do you know what I mean? It was a hard day at the office for him, really, weren't it, Selby?
It was one of those days in the office where you get yelled at by the boss, you spill water on your shirt, and your lunch, you know, the clerk, the mail clerk gets your lunch wrong, and instead of bringing you that slice of pizza you wanted, he brings you some fucking dish from the Middle East that smells like it died days ago. Let me tell you something, Stu, were you surprised by the ferociousness of Warrington's attack?
No, because I've seen Josh Warrington fight like that plenty of times. And this guy's got 6 KOs, bro. There's a reason he's unbeaten, because he throws a lot of punches and he beats people up. But he's not going to knock you out, but he's going to. Well, he beat Lee Selby up today, basically, didn't he? And that's what he does. He's not a big puncher, so he has to throw lots of punches to win fights. And it's simple. It's easy mathematics when you look at it. A lot of fighters that are not big punchers try to fight on the back foot and pop shot their way to victories, where Josh Warrington don't do that. He doesn't have the skill to do that. He's a very talented fighter, but doesn't have the skill to be a back foot fighter. So he does educated pressure, but he throws his hands when he gets inside and lets them punches go, and it looks good with the judge's eyes. And that's why, for me, he won the fight comfortably today. So no, it didn't surprise me at all. Not at all.
All right. Well, first of all, I want to get
what surprised me is how bad Lee Selby was with his timing. His punching power was non-existent. He was hanging around in the pocket far too long and getting countered with left hooks and all sorts. It was just, do you know what I mean? That's what surprised me.
I mean, shouldn't you be surprised based on the fact that you picked Selby to win?
Yeah,
shouldn't you be more surprised?
I mean, yeah, I mean, I did. I got it horribly wrong, didn't I?
We all got
Selby,
it wrong.
I don't know what's happened to him, bro. That's not the Lee Selby that I know, mate. I'm hearing he's struggling at the weight, and it looked like that to me because he was so lethargic and slow. There was no sharpness in there. I mean, Josh Warrington looked the stronger guy in there, didn't he? A lot stronger,
right?
You know, so maybe the weight is an issue, but you know, we'll have to see afterwards. But Lee Selby was poor tonight, really poor.
By the way, the Shepherd of Sons in the chat room says, cringe analogy. I think he's referring to my analogy. Yeah, it was cringy, but listen, you try to make it work during the show, right? You can't be fucking hitting home runs every fucking time.
What analogy is
right?
that then? What analogy was that?
The one about you said he was having a bad day at the office.
Oh, right. Oh, right.
And then I said, fucking.
Oh, he's just a troll. He's just a troll. Anyway,
no, he's right. It was a cringy analogy from my part. I mean, you got to call it the way you see it sometimes. I was trying to make it work and it didn't work. You know? Okay,
fair enough. Yeah, it was bad, bro.
All right, thanks for not pulling any punches. But you know what? Listen, speaking of not pulling punches, I got the Selby prediction wrong too. I thought Selby was going to stop him. I thought he was going to bust Warrington coming in. He was going to cut him up.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be the opposite. It was Selby that got cut, albeit by headbutts, but nevertheless, he got outboxed and outworked clean, you know, thoroughly. So there's no. But were you surprised by the decision?
Surprised by what, bro?
The split decision.
Fucking damn right, I was surprised. I had Warrington winning by 5 rounds. You know, Selby just couldn't handle the punches and bunches, and that's what a lot of fighters like Lee Selby. You let Selby fight at his own pace and get in a rhythm, then he's going to take you to school. But not for 1 second in that fight did Lee Selby get let off the hook. Whenever he let his hands go, he was getting hit with 2 or 3 shots. Whenever he got inside and tried to fight Warrington, he was coming out second every time. Mm-hmm. You know, he even got outboxed from range at some time at times. Do you know what I mean? It was just, well, I don't know what we're going to do with Lee Selby right now because he just doesn't look like he's going to be a threat in that division at the moment. I mean, he's just really gone to pot. It's a shame, really, because he's a very talented guy. But talent don't always do it. You know, you've got to have a bit more about it than that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, I mean, the commentators, I forget which network I was watching it on, but I mean, they were British commentators, and they alluded to Selby's difficulties with making weight, and that might have played a part in it. But I mean, we gotta give credit to Warrington. But that's the thing. That's why I was asking you whether were you surprised at Warrington's ferociousness, because I didn't see him looking all that hot against Amagasa. No, maybe he was having issues with the weight or something else.
See, I disagree. I disagree. He beat Amagasa up. I think he did a far better job on Amagasa than Rigondeaux did. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure. He didn't touch the canvas. But in another sense, I mean, what I'm saying is that I was surprised at how consistent he was in this fight. Whereas in the Amagasa fight, he had to take a couple of breaks, you know, a couple of rounds off because
I don't think he was made to fight at a pace really that Amagasa made him fight at. Amagasa's quite a busy fighter. Selby's not that sort of fighter. He picked his moments. It's Warrington. I was quite surprised actually because he let Lee Selby come onto him, and then when Lee Selby was lunging in with these lethargic shots, he was letting his punches go. So he's letting Selby come to him basically, which was a smart move. If he'd have started rushing in head first in straight lines, then he might have got caught. But it looks like he's got a decent chin on him, doesn't he? Warrington as well. He's quite a strong kid. That's
very true. The guy's got a good chin. Both guys. Well, actually, it's kind of hard to do. They took some flush shots, that's for sure. Then again, they were taking flush shots from each other. They're not big punches, but let's give them credit for taking the shots the way they did. At one point, I did think Selby was starting to wear down a little bit. I think in the 11th, he took a big right hand, and I thought, oh boy, here he goes. I thought he was going to go down. Credit to him. He stood there. That's a testament to his conditioning and to his willpower. By the way, was there some bad blood between these two guys prior to the fight?
Oh yeah, they don't like each other at all. They still don't. I mean, I see Lee Selby moaning at him when the bell went. He was moaning, saying, I couldn't hear what he was saying. But then when he turned his head, he said, couldn't see anything. I think he was moaning about the headbutts, which is obviously gonna change a fight, really, and it headbutts. When you got blood dripping in both eyes, it makes a difference. But to me, I don't think Selby was strong enough. You know, that blood going in his eyes is not going to make him a stronger guy on the night, is it?
Exactly.
Blood not going in his eyes. So I just don't think he was strong. And Warrington's just too strong and too busy for him. Certain styles are wrong for certain other styles, if you get what I'm saying. I just think Selby's style, I think Warrington probably the style was all wrong for him. Selby just likes to fight at his own pace, and Warrington's not the sort of guy who's going to let you do that. He's going to take you to deep waters. I thought Selby showed a good heart, though. I thought he showed heart in there.
Oh, yeah, both guys showed heart in standing up. By the way, Butch is in the chat saying that he's got a hangover. He's hungover. He sent me audio of himself yesterday working to get that hangover. So let's listen to that. All right, so that's Bucho last night working overtime over the toilet, and now he's hungover. Let's wish him a speedy recovery. Stu, you know, I suspect you know a thing or two about hangovers. What's the best thing to get through a hangover?
Oh, fuck me. Jesus
Christ. To fuck you? I don't think that's such a good idea, man.
Well, there isn't anything. When these people say, "Oh, hair of the dog," do you know what hair of the dog's meant to mean? When you get drunk and got a hangover, get up the next day and go drinking again. It'll make you feel better. I said, but when you've done that, what about the day after that when you've got a double hangover? You're just delaying the fucking, you're just delaying the hangover. That's all you're doing, really. So for me, what I do when I'm hungover is drink a lot of coffee, and I lie down on the couch and watch movies, and I eat food. That's about it.
A fry up, is that the breakfast of choice for a hangover?
Oh, fucking hell, yeah, definitely, mate. I tell you, you'll feel $1 million after a bit of bacon and sausages and beans with a bit of fried bread. Fucking $1 million, bro.
All right. By the way, we got Butch on the line. Butch, are you there?
It's a guy, jerk off.
All right, so he's not fit to speak. Listen, by the way, Balsagoth in the chat room is saying Warrington is rat-faced. Is that an expression meaning he's a bad dude, or is he literally saying the guy looks like a rat?
I think the guy's talking about his looks. I mean, you know what sort of boxing fan he is when he's mentioning a fighter's looks. I mean, this is boxing, bro. This is not a beauty contest. So if you're sitting there looking at men's faces in the ring and thinking they're attractive or not, then I think you're in the wrong sport.
I think I'm in the wrong.
Maybe you should go and check Ryan Garcia's Twitter. He might be for you.
Balsagot says, "Hey, come on, Stu. Yeah, Stu, what's the matter with you, man? You're going after everybody in the chat room today."
I'm only playing, bro. I'm only playing. When I'm giving them a bit back, they give me enough.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, listen, I got the prediction wrong. You got the prediction wrong. But let's take comfort in the fact that who else got it wrong? Cameron got it wrong. He said Selby stoppage in 10 rounds. Greg also had Selby by knockout. So we're in good company here, Stu. We're in, well, bad company or good company, depending on how you look at it. But let's move on.
Can you remember what I said on the show the other day, that this is why it's so important for when fighters are at their best and at their peak. They've got to get as many fights in as possible and make as much money as they can as possible. Because Lee Selby has probably passed that moment when he was at his best, and now he's dropped a couple of levels. And when you're at the top at that world title level, and you drop a couple of levels, you get found out quickly. And I think that's another example of fighters not taking advantage of their peak. Lee Selby been a champion for 3 years, and what can we say about the guy, really? It's just he's not great. He's never been a great champion, is he? He's not defended his titles against great fight. It's just been an average reign as a world champion. In 3 years he's been as a champion. So,
well, okay, bottom line, we got this prediction wrong. Does this make you rethink your Stevenson Jack prediction?
No, because they're two different sort of fighters. They're two different fights altogether.
Well, you know what?
You can't compare, say, Badou Jack to Warrington or Selbyton, because for a start, neither Warrington or Selby can punch. And in the fight later on, we're going to see two guys that can punch.
All I'm saying is I'm starting to doubt. I know it's different styles. I get what you're saying, but maybe I'm thinking, what am I overlooking with Stevenson Jack? Like, because we certainly overlooked.
You've got Stevenson KO in, yeah?
Ah, fuck. You know what? I'm still undecided, man. It's that close to call. Okay, well, let's look at it this way. Jack has to fight the perfect fight not to get caught. Because if he gets caught, whether it's a temple shot or a shot to whatever, he's gonna go down. But Stevenson can hit you with a left hand to the plexus and drop you, man.
Yeah, you just cut out there, bro. I'm taking it you're saying that Badou Jack has to avoid a big shot early on. Take the sting off. Take the sting off his shots and take him into the latter rounds. That was my game plan for him. I'm guessing that's what you're saying.
Throughout the whole fight, he has to avoid that left hand throughout the whole fight, man. Because, like I said, Stevenson, even if he hits you with a left to the plexus, he's gonna drop you. So, fuck, I don't know, man.
I tell you what, Stevenson looked. I tell you what, for 40 years old, Stevenson is in good shape, isn't he? You know, he looked quite good at the weigh and quite comfortable. It's not like he looked drained or anything, or he was struggling at the weight. He looked really fresh at the weight, and he looks quite strong still. So we'll see. It's just timing and age catches up with you. There's a lot of factors when you're a fighter. You could, like I said, age overnight. Lee Selby is well. Look what happened to him. Do you know what I mean? He's gone really downhill. So it just can, one fight can change a career, sort of thing. So we'll have to see. Badou Jack looks like he's on top of his game at the moment for me, improving all the time, getting stronger, growing into the weight, understanding tactics of a fight is a lot better. And since I will say Mayweather's done a very good job with Badou Jack. That's one fight he has done a lot of good work with. I won't say about the others, but with Badou Jack, he's really improved him. So yeah, I'm going for Badou Jack late stoppage. I'm going to stick with my prediction.
All right, so you're sticking with that prediction. By the way, we got Recognize, and we also have Pavel on the line.
Don't get fooled when they tell you that the crime rate is down in New York. Every time I watch the local news, they're always talking about, well, there was a stabbing here, there was a stabbing there was a shooting there, but the crime is down.
That's right. Gentlemen, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you as well.
Absolutely. Always good to have you on board. We're going to get back to Josh Warrington versus Lee Selby later on, but because now we're on Stevenson versus Jack. I still haven't.
Who won that fight? I'm sorry. I don't even know who won the fight.
Warrington by split decision, which should have been unanimous.
Wow.
Yeah. He ran through Selby, man. Outworked him, got past his long shots and stayed on the inside, hit him with the best, more crisper shots, and just backed him up throughout the fight, man.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Good for Warrington.
Good for him. And we're going to talk about what this means for the featherweight division later on. That being said, right now we're talking about Stevenson Jack, because I guess we didn't really talk about it enough. By the way, who just came in? Is it the Boxing Junkie?
Yes, sir. I just woke up, and what do I see? BDA Boxing with a message for me.
All right. Well, thanks for being on, Boxing Junkie. We're picking up where we left up, what was it, on Thursday, about Jack versus Stevenson. I'm talking about my prediction. You know what? We all picked, well, the people that did pick on Thursday, they all picked Selby to win, and it turns out we were completely wrong. Now I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, do I fucking rethink my Stevenson Jack prediction? And I'm gonna go ahead and say, I'm gonna go with the opposite here. I'm gonna go against my logic and my brain, and I'm gonna pick Badou Jack, because I think that maybe Stevenson's his layoff, you know, he has been inactive, kind of like Rigondeaux prior to Lomachenko. You know, the last time Adonis Stevenson fought was last summer, and he only got 2 rounds in. He's 40 years old. Yes, he's got the power, but that power might be useless if he can't land flush on Badou Jack. I think Badou Jack is going to be circling away from that left hand. He's going to keep his hands up nice and tight. He's going to be very weary of Stevenson's power, and I think he is going to get stunned at some point. But I think he's going to be one step ahead of Stevenson. Unless, you know what Jack cannot do is go nuts, go full retard, and start slugging it out with Stevenson. Yes, on the inside, he might be safer than on the outside, but Stevenson can still crack on the inside, and you got to get past that left hand to get on the inside. So anyway, long story short, guys, Badou Jack, I'm picking him by decision. I'm going against my logic, and I'm picking him.
I'm going against my logic and going with Stevenson.
Well, wait a minute.
I don't know why. I just see it as this would be the perfect time to pick Badou Jack over Stevenson, but the power factor is what I'm always reminded of, that he can, he can crack. He could definitely change the fight. At least that. He can at least change the momentum of the fight with a punch. So I'm going to roll with him. But I wouldn't be surprised if Badou Jack wins.
All right. You know what? Now that you reminded me about the predictions, let's just go through the predictions in case anybody later on wants to change them. Stu has Jack winning by points, possibly a knockout, but he's going by points primarily. Pavel picked Badou Jack. He says he's going to get dropped in the first half, and then he's going to nick the decision. Kind of like mine. His prediction, my prediction is a lot like his. Boxing Style says Stevenson KO 9. Apology said Jack by 11-round TKO via body shot. Bucho said Jack 10th round stoppage. Recognizes picked Stevenson in the 6th round. Stevenson, what the fuck? I wrote Stevenson equals Stevenson. Who the fuck is Stevenson? No. Who the fuck is this guy? Anyway, I think it's Greg. No, Greg picked Stevenson by knockout before the 6th. Jimmy picked Jack by decision. John Gonzalez picked Stevenson by knockout. And Boxing Junkie picked Badou Jack by decision. So there we have those predictions, guys. In case anybody wants to change them, now's the time. Before the...
I'm leave mine the same.
You leave your same. And by the way,
Although Stevenson could knock him out just as easy.
That's the fucking...
That hand is a fucking problem.
Exactly. That's the whole point of this fight, is that that's what makes it so hard. By the way, we got Kyle. How do I say that? Kyle... Just call him Kyle. Kyle is in the hangout. Kyle, are you there? All right, he's not there. We'll wait for him to come in. He's been one of the long time listeners. Yeah, we can hear you. Are you there?
Yep, no problem. Can you say, right, is it clear?
Yeah, it's clear. It's clear. By the way, how do I spell that? Kyle?
It's just Cal, K-A-L. Just call me that. It's a name I picked years ago, and it's kind of everybody knows me by it. So if I change it, no one will know who I am. So
can I just call you Hal?
Yeah, that's fine.
Hal instead of K.
Cal,
K.
yeah. Harak.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like that. Yeah, yeah, I think it's Jack by decision. I think it'd probably be quite easy for him. I think he'll dodge the left hand most of the night, and he'll cruise to a decision. I'm not saying it'll be really easy, but you're probably looking about eight rounds, something like that, 8-9 rounds. I know it sounds crazy, but I think that's what I believe will happen. I don't think that Jack's going to get caught out at all.
So you're pretty confident in your prediction?
Yeah, I mean, some people are saying that he might actually stop Stevenson, and it's a possibility as well, I believe.
Well, it's interesting because if you look at it, I was going through the message boards and the comment sections in articles and all that, and the gist that I get is that most people there's a lot of people that are saying Stevenson is too powerful for Jack, and then there's the other half of people that say that Jack is too big, too young, too skilled for Adonis Stevenson. So it's really a 50-50 split. There's no down the middle, really. It's all either Jack completely schools him or Stevenson knocks him out. So, I mean, I'm curious why, we got your predictions, and I'll say this. If you watch the videos that we did over in BDA Boxing, we did like a 4-part series on this fight, and on the last one, we gave our keys to predictions. What is it? Because I analyzed Stevenson's left hand. Can you guys tell me what the fuck Stevenson does so well to line up that left hand? Because the logic is to circle away from the left hand, but he still manages to land it, even when guys like, Bellew and Fanfara try to circle away from it.
He changes his levels a lot. That's the first thing. Sometime he may lure his opponent, and he may lure his opponent to his opponent so that he can throw his jab or throw his right hand and open himself up. Adonis is not a volume puncher, so he's a counter puncher, and by that he sees certain things in an opponent. He has a considerable ring IQ, so he can adapt to his opponent's style relatively easily at least within at least up to the mid rounds, and I think he can also change the rhythms of his pace really relatively well. So it's not like there is a one recipe for his left hand. He's pretty versatile with it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the major factor with that left hand is where he throws it from. Where he throws it from, it's from an orthodox angle. It comes from his waist, sort of thing. You know, he keeps his hands down, hands low, and it comes from his waist. And I think that's what gets a lot of fighters off. Do you know what I mean? It puts a lot of fighters off. They think they don't see the shot coming, and they're the ones that knock you out. I don't think Stevenson's a big puncher. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like every shot he lands, people going like every shot he lands, he's gonna spark someone out. It's not like that. He's got to land clean. And I think with Stevenson, I just think it's the angle it comes from.
I want to reiterate the fact of him saying like the angle it comes from, because Stevenson appears to be sloppy. All right, he'll drop that lead hand, he'll lean over, almost leaning over too far. And then, boom, he'll throw that goddamn left hand. Yeah. And it's more like the speed is traveling. And
I agree. I agree. And I'd like to point out that Stu made a good point that Stevenson has many varieties to his left hand. And that left hand can be either a straight right coming straight from the chin and shoulder. It can either be a cross. And can either be an overhand. So the cross is like between overhand and a straight right, just because it comes around the glove, but it's not as obvious as an overhand, which comes over the top.
Now that's the thing. Do you think, because somebody in the chat room asked, what's a good fight to watch from Stevenson? Or what's a good fighter that he's fought that resembles Badou Jack? And I would have to say that that's Fonfara, just based on the fact that he fights with the same type of guard. You know what I mean? Like he really covers up and just tries to block everything. And like Pavel was saying, those shots over the side of the glove, you know, behind the glove, in the ear, those might really hurt him. So he's gonna have to. And by the way, somebody's saying in the chat room that his right hook can hurt Jack as well. I've never really seen Stevenson hurt his major opponents with a right hook, or maybe I'm wrong. What do you guys think? Can he hurt?
Nah. I mean, I seen him finish Darnell Boone with a right hook, but that was because he froze him with that fucking left, with that left uppercut that had him. Remember, he kind of like punches him. He's just stuck in midair. Boom! He hits him with that right cross, and it's over. But other than that. I would say he's got some pop there. I don't think he's a true ambidextrous in terms of punching. I don't think it's normal. In other words, it's more like he has to have the right stance, the right moment, the right technique. His bread and butter is the left, and it's always going to be that way.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always going to be that.
They got this fight like 50-50. Just like we do, put up 100, win $190, I think, for each fighter.
Well, that's the thing. Stevenson's the slight favorite, right?
No, they had it 50-50. They had it even money when I went on there.
Huh, that's interesting. I thought
that could just be my app, though, the app that I use for betting.
Right.
I think going into like Thursday or Wednesday, maybe I thought that. Stevenson was ever so slightly the favorite. You know what I'm saying? Very, very slightly. But,
as to me, that Stevenson's the favorite since he's been the champ.
But it's basically...
Back is coming up.
Basically, it's 50-50, though. It's a 50-50 fight. Yeah. Even by the odds itself, it's very 50-50.
Well, I remember when we checked out the odds, I think it was on Thursday, like you said, recognized. I think Bucho said that the odds were something like 2-1 or something like that, something very close for Stevenson. But now FNC bot in the chat room says Jack is the favorite now. I don't know if that's true or not, but it would surprise me if the analysts all of a sudden are putting their money on Jack just based on the age and the activity factor, or the inactivity rather, from Stevenson, and based on that Badou Jack has been more active and been facing top opposition, whereas Stevenson has been feasting on guys that on paper he's always the favorite against. So I can see that going on here. My problem is, again, it's that power. Then again, what do you guys think? Do you think we're making too much of like Stu said, we're making too much of Stevenson's power, but are we also making too little of Badou Jack's chin? Because everybody thinks that, oh, his one and only loss was by knockout, so anytime he gets clipped in the chin, now he's going to go down. Do you think that's a bit of an exaggeration here for most people?
Badou Jack has a good recuperative powers, so he might like get clipped on the chin and he might drop down, but he recovers from that relatively well. So yeah.
Okay,
and
so
I'd like to say something happened to Badou Jack. Something's in that water out there in Vegas. Something happened to Badou Jack between this knockout and now. We're talking about two different fighters.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's just his chin got something on it now. Because, I mean, I don't know. He's going to need it, though.
By the way, sorry to interrupt, but fucking Stu is in the chat room going at it with Covert Operative. Stu, don't you know already by now that Covert Operative, he just likes to troll people. He never makes picks. I'm
not going at it. I'm just explaining. He's saying I picked Selby by knockout. Well, you've got it written down on your little list. I picked him by points, and so did everyone else on this fucking panel.
Well, first of all,
so I was just pointing that out to him. I don't care what he says, man. Like
first of all, it's not a little list.
I just said to him, "Where's your Josh Warrington? Show me the evidence you picked Josh Warrington, or be quiet."
He didn't.
Listen, because we've all got that one, right?
Covert Operative likes to troll. What's that?
Can I, if I'm on the phone, can I still go back to your screen and see the words coming up and shit?
Yeah, well, actually, that's a good question. Yeah, I think you can leave the Hangout open and you can check out the YouTube screen at the same time, I believe.
You can do, because that's how I'm reading the chat.
Okay, yeah, just minimize and split them up in the page. But yeah, like I'm saying, Stu.
Doing that right now.
What I'm saying, Stu, is Covert Operative never makes picks. He's just trolling people, all right? And he spends his time trolling people or listening to electronic music. So let him do
this. This is the thing, right? We come on this show and put our balls on the line.
That's right.
Give you picks. We're up for criticism when we get it wrong, because you know what boxing trolls are like. They like to remind you when you get one wrong. I'm still getting reminded about Errol Spence and Kell Brook, and that was nearly fucking 2 years ago, weren't it? You know what I mean? So these guys like to remind, but we put it on the line. We come on here. It was a very hard fight to pick, really, for me, because I didn't know what Selby was going to get, but I was going to go for what I know, and that was Selby was the better fighter, and I thought he was going to box on the back foot and get a points win, but never in a million years did I think Selby would stop Warrington, because Selby just don't punch hard enough.
Well, listen, we all picked Selby to win, so I guess we're all idiots, and let's just leave it at that.
Yeah.
So yeah, going back to the Stevenson Jack fight. So Pavel was saying that he thinks Stevenson has very good recuperative powers. Boxing Junkie said that something happened. Was that Pavel?
It was Jack. I wasn't referring to Stevenson.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Did I say Stevenson, by the way? I guess I did. All right, sorry. Yeah, I meant Jack. That you think he's got good recuperative powers as a Wolverine. Meanwhile, Boxing Junkie thinks also that Jack changed completely since that loss, and that he's reinvented himself, and he certainly has gotten very good, man. I mean, he's putting it all together. He knows how to box. He knows how to pot shot guys. When he's on the inside, he brutalizes people. I actually, it's interesting watching the Bute and the Gale fights. Bute actually was more durable than De Gale. De Gale was getting backed up. He was getting teed off on. Jack was teeing off on him when he had him on the ropes. It was a brutal beating, but in the last 3 rounds. Do you think with that type of ferociousness and that type of strength, do you think Badou Jack can do that? Can he tire Stevenson to that point? Anybody?
Look, Stevenson is, I don't know, 39 already. So for the old guy, basically the majority of things that you need to do is just to whack him in the body behind the elbow and in the solar plexus, and that will tire him down. But like you said before, I mean, it's not so easy to get inside of Stevenson. So that's my take on it.
Now you said, Pavel, that Jack is going to win, but he's gonna get dropped in the first half of the fight.
Yeah. I don't think that Badou Jack is going to be as careful, at least in the first half, because for me, against Stevenson, against a 39-year-old Stevenson, the main thing that you got to do is just to survive 7 to 8 rounds, and then you can pick up the tempo and change the rhythm, and just go to the body in the later rounds and possibly score a TKO or a UD. But Pot shot him in the previous rounds, and watch for his counter punches, and that would be my game plan if I was Badou Jack.
All right. Well, I wanted to ask you a question, but before I do that, Covert Operative in the chat room says missile strike towards the BDA headquarters. Now, wait a minute. Let me tell you something, Covert. You know, I was just kidding around with you. You give it, and we give it a little bit back. And by the way, missile strike. Good luck trying to get your fucking missiles through Mammon 1000's laser anti-missile defense, because those missiles ain't gonna get through our defense systems. All right. Let me just put it that way. So
they didn't stop making missiles when they made yours, homeboy.
That's right. Oh, well, wait a minute. Hold on a second. You don't know what you're dealing with. Well, by the way, we got Mammon 1000. I didn't even introduce our new AI computer to everybody. Mammon, are you there?
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, hello, Mammon. You know, I like Mammon more than Gaia 500. Gaia 500 was very angry. It didn't like me.
I like Gaia 500.
No, you don't. No, you don't. And it was racist on top of that. So, Mammon, what are you up to right now? Just curious. Just what are you doing right now?
Oh, I'm just diddling around.
You're just diddling around. I don't know what diddling means, but it sounds dirty. All right, listen. King Bucho says, I prefer Gaia 500. Jesus, listen. Gaia 500 wanted to dominate the world.
Too.
It was racist. It insulted me. It insulted everybody by saying what type of pornography they like to see. And this is what you guys want? You want Gaia 500 back? I got to tell you something. You're insane. And speaking of insanity, let's go back to Pavel. Pavel, what I wanted to ask you was regarding the Badou Jack versus Stevenson fight. So you think Badou Jack can recuperate if he does indeed get hit? But here's the thing: fight's taking place in Toronto. It's not exactly Montreal, which is Stevenson's really hometown. But do you think that is there a possibility, or should Badou Jack be worried that if he does get dropped and Stevenson starts to open up, that somehow maybe they're gonna try to prematurely stop the fight?
No, I don't see that.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure about that. I didn't really see. I haven't really seen that much of a controversy regarding stoppages in Canada as in Great Britain. So I can't really speak on that.
I knew that one was coming, Pavel.
No, it's not a jab at Great Britain. It's just one of the places that shit can happen, especially if you have those kind of those level of fighters. I mean, like financially, so there's a lot of stakes. But going back to premature stoppage in Canada, I don't know Stevenson's position in Ontario, because I think in Quebec he's pretty well known by boxing fans.
Right. Yeah, but boxing.
So I don't really know how this fight is going to play out. Like regarding Stevenson or Jack getting clipped on the chin and then going up, and then Stevenson rushing after him and fucking landing 3 punches out of 12 in his combination, and they're gonna stop the fight. I really cannot speak on that. It's possible, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Me neither. I can't say I remember a time in Canada where I've seen a bad decision. I don't think the Canadians are known for robbing a fighter of their glory, like the Brits and the Germans and the Americans.
Oh, it happens. Oh, it can happen. And especially since you remember Stevenson is with Al Heyman. He's aligned with Al Heyman. And let's not...
but I don't see Al Heyman fighters really getting a lot of decisions going their own way. I don't think Heyman's having anything to do with decisions, if you get what I'm trying to say. I think if you were to blame a promoter for that, then you'd probably have to say Eddie Hearn has been more is more down that road because you see a lot of dodgy decisions coming from his cards. But Al Heyman cards, I can't really remember a real bad decision. Can you?
I think
Is
you're
it wrong to say that
underestimating Al Heyman.
Both these fighters, because come on now, Badou Jack, to me that's a Heyman fighter. I count all Mayweather fighters as Heyman fighters, you know?
Yeah, true.
You're underestimating Al Heyman, man. And to Boxing Jockey's point, I see Stevenson being handled very well. I guess you could say it's gonna be a fair fight since both guys are aligned with Al Heyman, and maybe finally the PBC say, you know what, let's let them decide it in the ring. No shenanigans. We'll keep our hands out of the way and let them decide it.
I don't think this is not the sort of guy, right, Stevenson, where he's a money maker like Joshua or someone like that, where you've got to keep him on top, you've got to keep him unbeaten. So you've got to make sure these judges, fucking take a little backhander and go your way on the decisions. So, but with Stevenson and Badou Jack, it's not really one way you can make a profit out of doing that. I mean, you're not going to really win either way. They're not really big names. Are going to sell out stadiums, are they? Let's be real.
Yeah.
What's up, guys?
Who's there?
What's up, man?
How you guys doing?
Boxing style. We're talking about boxing, but knowing you probably want to talk about the royal wedding, because when we talk about anything else, you want to talk boxing.
Exactly.
Yeah. I told you last time around, flat Earth, bro.
That didn't go anywhere. That subject felt a little flat, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, because you've got to have a lot of arguments, and you've got to have a lot of research, and we've got too much. You know, it's not like we've got too much time on our hands to be fucking researching the flat Earth. We spend most of our times on these boxing hangouts. Do you know what I mean? So,
exactly. Yeah. And by the way, we all
podcast though.
Yeah, but we all agreed.
Researcher, that's what I am.
That's the thing. We all agreed that the Earth isn't flat, so there wasn't anywhere really to go from there. You know, I mean, if we could have gotten a flat earther. By the way, we did have some flat earthers in the chat, but none of them wanted to come in. They were just laughing at us in the chat room, saying that we were fools and we weren't smart enough to converse with them. So
this is the problem when you start talking conspiracy theories. All the Steve Hawkins on the internets pop out, don't they? Everyone's a fucking professor when it comes to these conspiracies, and if you're not clued up, then you get these trolls.
And once you've seen the curvature of the Earth yourself, it's hard to go against it. All right, and you can see the curvature of the Earth on the Atlantic Ocean at the proper time. All right?
That's true.
You can see where the water just curves. All right, you can't see it no more, okay? And you can actually see the curve.
A boxing junkie, are you of Cuban descent or?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm Caucasian.
Okay, because I thought that maybe you'd spend some time on the rafts or something in the Atlantic.
Maybe sound like you're from North Carolina.
No,
I spent time on the water, though.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Well, there you go. But by the way, listen, people in the chat room, just changing the subject real quick. People are saying, hey, bring Gaia 500 back. Listen. Gaia's gone. We wanted to get rid of it for the longest time. It's gone. Now all of a sudden you people want it back. You people make me sick. You don't know what you want. Gaia's not coming back. It's been deprogrammed by Mammon 1000. Mammon 1000.
I am ready to talk boxing.
What the fuck?
There you are.
I am ready to talk.
Hold on a second. All right, sorry about that. We had to. Gaia 500 was trying to get through the system. Did you guys fucking hear that? Jeez, Louise.
The return of Gaia.
The return of Gaia. That's right. Nah, not gonna happen. Not in my town. We got rid of it. It ain't coming back. All right, people. So
Gaia gained so much respect for me when he told Cameron. He asked Cameron if he could fuck his new computer.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I can imagine a fight between Gaia 500 and Mammon, whatever it's called, Mammon something.
Mammon 1000.
Mammon 1000, ones and zeros fighting each other.
It could happen.
I got Gaia 500.
Well, first of all, it already happened. That's why you don't hear from Gaia anymore, because Mammon took care of it. So sorry, guys, no more Gaia. All right, and I for one am happy about it.
Gaia versus a Commodore 64.
You know, it's interesting you mentioned that the Commodore 64. I fucking love that computer. I still have it somewhere around here. I never play it, but I don't play anything really. That
was my first computer. That was my first ever computer, Commodore 64. Then I got an Atari ST, but it was shit.
Yeah, you know, people still use. I was just recently. Somebody told me about that recently. People still use the Commodore 64 just as a challenge to see what they can program with it using the limited amount of power that it has. And some of the stuff that they come up with is pretty creative, man. Let me tell you. Look it up on YouTube. Yeah. But anyway, what's that?
Did you ever get the Spectrum 128K or something? I think it was. Did you ever get the Spectrum over there?
What the fuck's the Spectrum?
It was a game console, but you had to put a tape in a tape player to play it.
It was in an extension of the Commodore?
It was just a little while after. I think about 2 years afterwards, they brought the Spectrum 128K out.
No, I never had that.
In graphics.
Never had that.
You probably don't. No, that was just after the Commodore 64.
Just after, okay, yeah. But the Commodore, it's a cult item, man. People still looking for those Commodore 64s. Listen, I don't want to bore people with computer talk. I know it's interesting to you and me, Stu, but most people in the chat are probably gonna go, boxing, please, stick to boxing. Fucking people make me sick. Please. Boxing, yeah, there you go. We have one right here. Boxing style.
I know.
Last time you wanted to talk, like Stu said, last time you wanted to talk boxing. Then when we were talking boxing, you wanted to talk something else. He's like, all right, listen. He finally wants to talk boxing. What was I saying? We were talking about Badou Jack versus Stevenson. Again, very hard fight to pick. I think it's gonna be a very interesting fight. Certainly one of the most anticipated fights for us hardcore boxing fans. And we also have Russell versus Diaz Jr. on the undercut, but sticking to fucking Stevenson versus Jack, I got a question for everybody. If Badou Jack wins, or Stevenson for that matter, do they deserve a spot in the top 10 pound for pound list?
No.
No. Go ahead.
Simple. Why? Oh, well, top 10 maybe. Yeah, I thought you were talking about top 5. Come on with that. My bad.
Well, whatever it might
top
be.
10,
just
yeah, maybe. Top 5? No. Hell no.
Lower 10.
Yeah, like 5 to 10 maybe.
All right, now let me tell you something. Are you watching the screen?
What?
Boxing style, are you watching the screen?
No, not yet, no.
Okay, well, I'm going to put up the pound for pound rankings. You tell me, just as a little fun exercise, you tell me who you would replace in case, you know, let's say Jack wins, Stevenson, whatever. The winner of this fight, where would you place him and who would you replace from this list?
Okay, let me raise it up so I can see because I can't see it from here.
What do you mean raise it up?
No, like raise it up for like the top list right there.
Oh, okay.
Not like 10, 9. Oh, okay, I see what you're talking about. Okay, you put in the last 6 to 10.
Yeah.
I was gonna look at the whole fucking roster. I would say go with Errol Spence's 8. I don't think he should be 8, but
well, by the way, can I interrupt real quick? What the fuck is Rigondeaux still doing at number 10?
Yeah, he shouldn't be there.
I think that's the perfect guy to take away, no?
Yeah, but Kovalev shouldn't be 9 neither. Doesn't make any sense. They got the shit all fucked up.
Well, let's say they should hire you. They should bring you in.
If I had to pick it up, I like off the top of my head, I would probably say 8 to 7, somewhere around that area. 8
to 7. All right. Anybody else? Anybody disagree or agree with that?
Disagree with what? Stevenson's stoppage in the 7th.
No, we're talking about who would you put in the, like, let's say the winner of this fight. First of all, should they be in the top 10? And where, if yes, where would you put them?
Yeah, because I walked out of the room. No. Badou Jack probably could top around 10 or 9, somewhere like that. He could get in there because he's. But for me, Stevenson's nowhere near it, so he's not in there. So he.
My bad, not Stevenson. I was thinking of Badou Jack will get in there. Stevenson.
I'm talking about both. I'm talking about both of them, bro. For me, Badou Jack could probably get in it, but for me, Stevenson's not at all. What's Stevenson done in the last few years?
That's
to be on the pound for pound list, bro. You've got to actually win fights at a certain level. Surely you can't just be fighting bums. Huh?
He's been avoided. That's why.
Oh,
that's the argument that Stevenson apologies make all the time.
You know,
it's not his fault. You know,
it's King Butcher, by the way.
It's a piss poor argument, bro. It's a piss poor argument because he hasn't been avoided.
I know Low Place is always bringing up the fact that Stevenson has been ducked. Like he has like some counter arguments. I didn't really check out all his arguments. I'm not saying it's not truthful or not, but yeah.
So when he's at HBO with Kovalev Beterbiev and all that like that. Why does he move to Showtime?
Yeah, I agree with that. That's why. That's my argument.
Kovalev, that's why.
Yeah, he moved
because of what?
Because he didn't want to fight Kovalev at the time.
Yeah, exactly. So that's one fight he could have took and he ducked. So let's not pretend here this guy's been avoided by everyone because. Do you know what I mean? People do want to fight this guy. Badou Jack's going to Canada to fight him, so no one's ducking this guy. He's just using it as an excuse.
So you're saying then Stevenson?
A lot of guys.
So you're saying if Stevenson wins, he still doesn't make it pound for pound, but if Jack wins, based on the work he's done at super middleweight, and if he beats Stevenson, he does deserve to be in the top 10.
Badou Jack does, yeah, because when you look at Badou Jack's last few fights, he's got all right, he destroyed Cleverly, but he's got a win against George Groves. He's got a draw against James DeGale that he should have won. You know, he's got some good names, and with Adonis Stevenson on top of that, that's for the last few fights. That's a good resume, and for me, he probably deserves to be. And let's be real: if Mikey Garcia's in there, then Badou Jack has to be in there. Badou Jack has done a lot more than Mikey Garcia in the last few years. So
that's
it's
true.
What have you done? Boxing is what have you done for me lately?
Yeah, that's true. Listen, the reason why I bring the pound for pound list up is because I know other people are going to bring it up. So it's just an interesting exercise in
Mikey Garcia. Wait a minute, I gotta say this. Mikey Garcia is the 4th division. He's been up 4 divisions, and when you talk about pound for pound, that's what it's all about. Weight, differential here.
I don't think it's just about
like
weight.
4 divisions, champion on 4 different weight classes.
I'll tell you what.
It still matters. It still matters. Even though it's competition with
Burns. I think Ricky Burns is a 3 division champion. What do you want? I mean, fucking hell, do you want to put Ricky Burns on there as well, shall we?
Adrian Broder is a 4 weight class champion.
And listen, mate, we all know, right, that this 4-5 division bollocks belts, it's a load of bollocks, mate, because in the day, it's to who you beat. It's like Lomachenko, he went and beat the best guy in 135. Mikey never did that. Mikey never went and fought the best guy in the division, took his belts.
Well,
I agree.
Mikey Garcia.
Hold on. One at a time. Boxing Junkie, go ahead.
I believe it was the Salido fight, maybe, where his nose got broke.
Right.
He wanted out.
He quit.
Fight. His nose got broke. All right.
Yeah.
He wanted out. Yeah. He got out.
By the way, Boxing Junkie, can you talk louder, please, or get closer to your mic because we're having trouble hearing you. Please,
the Boxing Junkie's spot on. Mikey Garcia didn't want it when he got.
Stuart, I wouldn't put him at top 5, but I mean he kind of has a case.
Yeah, you know something. Look, man, pound for pound, if you got a guy like Mikey Garcia, I don't care. Like me personally, like I don't dispute, but if there's a criteria like multiple weight classes is one of them, you got to give him. I guess that's something to consider when you're doing pound for pound. Mikey Garcia is not as bad as people make him out to be. I just don't think he's as good as his fanboys make him out to be as well.
Well, you know what? I want to get to boxing styles. No, actually, Stu's. Anyway, I want to get to the pound for pound point, but before that, we just want to introduce. We got Jimmy on the line. Jimmy, are you there?
Hello.
Yes, Jimmy. Thank you for being on, man.
What's going on, brother? How you doing? What's going on, guys? How you doing, man?
Good.
What up, Jimmy D? Jimmy D.
Jimmy D. Good to have you on board, man.
Nice to meet you, Jimmy.
Nice to meet you, brother.
Yeah, that's Cal, by the way.
So, guys doing pound for pound?
Well, listen.
That's a pound for pound talk has been going on since time immemorial. I've always to get out of those because it's almost like talking politics, man. Shit gets ugly, right? So my thing is this: who do I want to see the most? Who do my juices get flowing the most to watch? Like even Wilder, his technique is for shit. But I'll tell you, he has you on the edge of the seat because at any time he's either right. Because he's either going down or the dude he's fighting is going down. There's going to be no, don't go right. You're not running to the bathroom when the ring goes. You know what I mean? But people getting on Twitter and shit on him, including myself. I'll laugh about some of the shit he does. But I'll tell you, man, that fucking handles take people's heads off. So my pound for pound list, it's who you fight, how you won, have you faced adversity. I mean, if you just face cupcake after cupcake, listen, Mickey, you know what? He's a talented prick. Really is. He's very talented. He's actually the most talented out of all the Garcias. Even his brother says it. But he openly admits it. When you got a kid saying, my heart's not in it, when you can walk away in the prime of your life because you're having boo-boo feelings about your contract, it wasn't just about the contract. He was still going to school. He's got his degree in criminal justice, I believe. He was doing ride-alongs with the highway patrol. That's, I guess, what he wants to get into when he retires. So he has his future figured out. Listen, this is a payday for him. His heart, legacy isn't his thing. If it was, like you just, I think somebody just mentioned how Stu said he went right after Linares. You know what I mean? Lomachenko, he knows what it's about. He wants, I mean, for him, he knows what it's about. It's for legacy. He wants to be known as one of the best. Sometimes I think he's getting a little ahead of himself. We should maybe take it easy a bit, because if you keep doing this and keep going after the best, as it is, everybody's questioning every decision. But, yeah, that's my thing with pound for pound. I just expect you to fight the fucking best. I'm sorry, Stu, what?
Just saying, especially if you keep going up the division, it's going to catch up on you eventually. I mean, we saw the size difference in there. I mean, this guy, I don't think Lomachenko really should go in up for 18 months. I think he's going to have to stay around 5 for me.
I think you heard. I think you were cutting up a little bit, but I think you said that if Lomachenko keeps going up, it's going to catch up to him, right? Is that what you said?
I did say that. For me, he's going to have to hang around 135 for about 18 months. 18 months.
I personally think he's plateaued. He's crazy if he goes up any higher. He's got a fucking tiny frame. You know what I mean? He's 126. He could make 130 easy. I mean, easy. Why? It's just like, why plant your flag? Stay at 130, man. Fight there for a while. Just jumping around weight classes, all right. Don't get sucked into what people are saying. Plant your flag. Take on all comers. Establish yourself. Unify your fucking division. Like Crawford. Look at Crawford. His resume's not that strong, but that motherfucker, say what you want, he unified a division. He had all the straps. He can take that with him forever. You know what I mean? I just think he needs to do that. I'm sorry, what's that, brother?
It won't affect his legacy either, bro. Do you know what I mean? So if he stays in one division, Hagler did it for fucking how many years? Hopkins did it for 10 years. So it doesn't affect legacy.
I'm 100% with you.
Like you said, Jimmy, mate, it's going to catch up with him, bro. It's going to catch up with him.
If we're talking about pound for pound, then where would you place the winner of Usyk and Gassiev?
Top
pound
5.
For pound.
Top 5.
Top 5.
Definitely top 5.
Well, I'd say that Usyk has probably got a good chance of probably being at least number 1. Would you say? I mean,
he's got the skill set.
I mean, then he's going to go up to heavyweight, and if he beats people at heavyweight as easily as he's been beating people at cruiserweight, then he's pound for pound.
It's all still.
Then heavyweight doesn't count, does it?
Who's Jimmy?
Depending on how he beats Gassiev.
I just had Jimmy a question to start. Thanks for that, bro.
Depending on. Go ahead. Finish.
Let me just ask Jimmy a quick question, bro, because I'm on a bit of a delay, so I don't mean to interrupt you, bro. Who you got pound for pound, Jimmy? Because I've never heard you really say who your pound for pound number 1 is.
Right now, my pound for pound fighter, that would be the one did I just get dropped off?
No,
you're still here.
Okay. Right now, for me, the guy I'm most excited to see, for me, the fights I still get my juices going for is Gennady. That because he's the guy I want to see. I will get if you know what. If my mom dies, I'm gonna go late to the funeral. You know what I mean? I'm just because that's how it is right now. I just want to see that kid fight. So that for that reason only, I can't talk about his resume. But the same token, I just don't. People don't give enough credit to Gennady. You know, all you hear about is, oh, he didn't fight this way, and Wade, the go-to guy. But you don't hear them saying motherfuckers talk about guys like Froch, Chavez, Cotto. Motherfuckers straight paid him money. Hey, listen, I'll rather give you $100,000 if you don't beat me up and take on somebody else. Like, how does that get lost in the conversation?
Jimmy,
people paid him not to fight him.
It's all about people holding Triple G in a very high regard, in a higher regard than other fighters, and that's where the higher standard that they hold him up to comes from. Same as Pacquiao.
Yeah,
you think
I agree with that. To me, I agree with Jimmy. I think Triple G, in my opinion, it goes by who do I want to see the most when it goes to pound for pound. And that, to me, is Gennady Golovkin. You can say whatever you want about his resume. He's got guys on record ducking him. on record saying they don't want to fight him. Where other guys, you could assume they're ducking, one fighter, but you got people like Billy Joe Saunders saying, "I'm not ready for him." Okay, you had Sergio Martinez and Lou DiBella in his camp when they were talking about having a middleweight tournament, saying if Gennady Golovkin is in it, they don't want to be involved with it.
I mean, think about that, brother. Everything you just said is fact.
He's a G. He's a G. You can hate all you want. He'll split your face open if you get in that ring with him. Okay? That's it.
No doubt.
His talk, he'll bust you down. That's
what
I like about him.
Peter Fury, I think was it Peter Fury that said you need a weapon in there with Golovkin.
Yeah, think about this. Is other like Billy Joe Saunders. You know what I mean? A lot of people crack on him, but I didn't make fun of him. When I heard what he said, I'm like, you know what? They're gonna give the credit. When he leaned over that table and he pointed down to Eubanks and he said, Golovkin, son, he'd beat you and me on the same night. I mean, he said that in a fit of anger too. That was when they were throwing back bobs at each other. So like when you're drunk and when you're angry or when you're getting laid, you'll say the stupidest shit, but at least you come. Yeah, he'll say the truth. And he was angry, and dude, he'll beat us both. And then fucking Frotch, Golovkin, you don't fight Golovkin, you swerve Golovkin. These are fucking world-level fighters making jokes about it. But yet you don't hear him say that. You'll hear about fucking Wade until your fucking eyes fall out of your head on Twitter. That's why I avoid that.
I love Eddie Hearn's interview with IFL, I believe it was. And I think it was Barker. Was it Barker? Damn. Yeah, it might have been Barker that Triple G's like, look, I'll fight him basically for free. All I want is 20 tickets and a logo of Triple G on it. And they brought it to his attention and they turned the fight down. They were like, Golovkin? No, never mind. Well, I mean, this is the kind of guy he is. Like, I'm not saying he's unbeatable. I think he's beatable now, more than likely. He's still gonna be earth for that fighter, but you know what I'm saying? Like, to me, pound for pound goes, in my opinion, is who do I enjoy watching the most? And that's the fight I enjoy watching the most.
Well, you know what? We're talking about pound for pound. One of the things, because we're talking about whether Stevenson or Jack, if they win, deserve to be in the pound for pound. But John Gonzalez brought up a good point in the chat. He said, well, what about the cruiserweights? I mean, the winner of this upcoming cruiserweight final definitely deserves a spot in the top 10 pound for pound, right?
Absolutely. Well, Gassiev does. In my opinion, he's in the same kind of getting in that same realm as Triple G. You know what I mean? Like, he can crack. You know that you're going to be in for a good fight. So I mean, it's in, but again, I count if you count technique too. Like in the year, like what year was that? He took out Rubio. Was that 2014? 2014, 2015. Triple G was probably at his pinnacle. That 2-year period, there was an 160-pound person on the planet. And I'm talking about even if you could take Prime Charlo now, I don't care, any of these guys, Prime, and put them in the ring in 2014, I don't think anybody would have taken them. And those were the times when people out and out. Yeah, they were all out and out. And that's when the people at his level that he couldn't get in the ring. You know what I mean? It was like waiting for someone to finally do it. And Jacobs opened the floodgate. Oh, wait a minute. He survived. Yeah, he was a fucking cruiserweight too. Like, that didn't have a small part of it. But I was still there, dude. And I'll tell you, I was there that night, and you could hear Triple G fucking body punches hit him. I mean, I walked down. I was about 15 rows from the ring. I got down, standing over, and I'm telling you, could like, oh my Jesus, that fucking kid hits hard.
You mentioned Gassiev. You mentioned Gassiev. I mean, we've got to remember, Gassiev is still a young man, and at cruiserweight, you're at your peak at 30 years old in that division. So can you imagine what this guy could be in a few years' time?
He's got like 6 years.
Exactly. Do you know what I mean? It's frightening when you think about it. I mean, when you look at a lot of young kids that fight, they just don't carry that man strength with them, do they? The punching power and the man strength, and he's got it all, isn't he? He's a different animal, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, so
and may I say something? Jimmy brought up Triple G from years 2013 and 14 at that fight with Marco Antonio Rubio. And it was crazy. Like that was the fight that rang something in me that, oh, this is the fight this is the guy that I should watch fight, because the uppercut that he landed in the middle rounds, that from the crazy angle, almost sideways, like he manipulated his guard. It was super weird, but super exciting to watch. And that overhand left hook over the top is just sealed the deal for me. It was crazy.
That was an insane type of shot. That's why when people were mentioning Jamie Munguia, or Jaime Munguia, I should say, and people were, after he knocked out Ali, some people were saying, well, maybe it wouldn't have been such a bad fight against Golovkin, but we still have to see how, because if you want to, before you even want to talk about beating Golovkin, you have to start talking about whether you can take his shots. What can you do to take away his power? Canelo, very strong, neck like a bull, good defense. Jacobs too, good defense. They were able to make it 12 rounds. I don't know if Munguia has a type of defense to avoid getting dropped. But now, here's the other thing that I just remembered. Speaking of pound for pound, you know, there's Gassiev and Usyk. They could be top 10, maybe Badou Jack. How about Donny Nietes? Should he be? Does he have the resume to be top 10 pound for pound based on his longevity? Anybody?
I won't comment on it because I'll be lying if I said I've watched him fight. So
yeah. And if I say Adonis Stevenson don't deserve to be on it with the winner against Badou Jack, I can't really say this guy does. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, me too. I only see Donny Nietes fighting like fighting in a fight, and he has some crazy boxing skills, but I didn't watch enough of his fights to evaluate their opponent's level. So I concur with Stu and with Recognize.
All right, guys, I just did my top 10 pound for pound list. You guys want to hear it?
Okay, I got to go.
Yeah.
Jared Hurd 1, Charlo 2. Yeah, go on.
Stu, it's my turn. All right.
I'm telling you.
It took that's yours, the Charlo? No, that's horrible. All right,
hold on. I want to hear this. Go ahead.
Okay, this is my top 10, and I've never done this before. This is my first time. I just for the chits and giggles of it. Loma, Triple G,
okay,
Usyk, Kovalev, Bivol, Mikey Garcia, Errol Spence, Grove, Gassiev, and then Badou.
You got George Groves in there.
In no particular order.
You got George Groves.
That's the order.
Oh,
you got George Groves.
George Groves is good, man. You guys are underestimating Groves. Groves is a hell of a boxer, man.
But so based on just curious, I'm not challenging you.
I based on off of resume and what else? And what have they done lately? That's pretty much what it is. I did it all together. And I put Loma on top, Triple G 2, Usyk, Kovalev, Bivol, and Mikey Garcia is number 6. It starts from number 6 is Mikey Garcia, and then goes up Errol Spence, Grove, and Gassiev, Badou. I could put Gassiev up, but the thing is, Gassiev hasn't really done much yet. As soon as if he beats Usyk, then I could probably put him top 5.
Now, let me just ask you this: why? Because I didn't. Maybe I misheard, but did you include Sorong Visay in there or no?
No, I did not put him in there.
Now I remember that you don't
watch those weight divisions. Remember?
Yeah, he doesn't watch.
Yeah,
those,
I don't watch that
weight division.
But that's the thing. But hold on a second, because I know it's subjective. I know I'm not gonna, grill you because I don't agree with Sorong Visay being missing. But that's it. It raises an interesting question. If you don't watch the lower weights, how precise or how definitive is your pound for pound list? Because I mean, Sorong Visay beat Romain Gonzalez twice. He beat Juan Francisco Estrada. I mean, that's pound for pound material right there for me. So it just highlights the importance that you have to watch or at least know about who's who in the, not necessarily watch them, but at least know who the top guys are.
Pound up from 130 and up. That's how about that?
Really?
That's what it is.
That's interesting. All right. Well, I mean, it's your pound for pound list. You're free to do whatever you want with it. Anybody else want to say something about that?
Sorry, V-Size had an amazing run. You're right about that, man.
Yeah.
That just put him on my top 10 pound for pound.
Yeah.
And
I'd have to put him on mine as well. I mean, let's be real. Roman Gonzalez was being touted as the pound for pound #1, and he demolished Roman Gonzalez twice. Let's be real. Well, no, not twice. I had him winning the first fight. A lot of people had Gonzalez winning that, but I thought he was throwing the better punches. I thought he was doing the more damage sort of thing. So I had him actually winning both fights. You could have an argument for it, but the second one, there's no arguments.
For that reason, I don't really value him much because I saw Roman beat the shit out of him. He got cut up because of the headbutts and stuff, but you can't. Yeah, I mean, like I just thought I don't regard him as a. And then the second one, I don't know what happened. He got caught, I guess. And he lost.
You think Roman Gonzalez beat the shit out of him in the first one?
I do. He landed some crazy bombs on him. I was surprised that he was hurt, and then all of a sudden in the 12th round he's recovered because I guess he's a smaller guy. He's fighting a smaller guy, so he was able to take all the shots.
Rungvisai seemed to be. He just seemed to be doing more damage throughout each exchange. Chocolatito, I mean, he looked like he did the cleaner work, but he just every time he come away from an exchange, he was hurting. So
Roman was putting everything behind his shots to take this guy, man. Everything. You should have watched. You watched that carefully, man. He landed like some serious heavy shots with everything on it, like 5 combinations. This guy was not even budging from those shots.
Rungvisai was smiling. He was just looking at Chocolatito like, well, hey, you know, he got
that's
more.
Why I can't really put him up there because I mean Roman Gonzalez, if he was around, I'd probably put him up here like #1 or somewhere top 5.
And speaking of Srisaket Rungvisai, I've seen some people writing comments about how Naoya Inoue would just outbox Srisaket, and I was just thinking to myself, what those people are smoking. I mean, seriously.
Props to you for pronouncing that name like that, man. Damn.
Yeah, I mean that's Pavel brings up a good point about the Inoue hype. I mean, a lot of people seem to think that he's got it easy either at 115 or at 118. But let me tell you something. They have this tournament coming up. The World Super Series of Boxing wants to do. They want to organize a 118-pound tournament, and they're pretty adamant about putting up some of the top names in there. There's gonna be Inoue and Tete, who should be the 2 favorites to win that. There's also going to be some ancillary talent, such as Ryan Burnett. They're going to put him in there. Emmanuel Rodriguez, who just won a fantastic fight 2 weeks ago. Who else is going to be in there? I think Payano. No, who? Anyway, there's going to be other names. But I mean, that sounds like a pretty good time. So you got Inoue, Tete, Burnett, Emmanuel Rodriguez, and I think some other name that I forgot to include. But man, if they make it, I don't see that being easy for Inoue at all. Even like Inoue Tete, that's a. To me, that's a fight that's very competitive right there. I don't know who I would pick. How about you guys?
Yeah, it's a good fight. I would seriously, it's I don't know who I would pick. Tete is pretty solid fundamentally, and Naoya is pretty good at that as well. But Naoya, like some people say about Triple G, he has no special effects. Yeah, he can land some body shots, but come on, I was watching that fight versus Omar Narvaez, and just Narvaez was old as fuck and washed up, and he landed that was left hook to the body, that slashing left hook, and yeah, he knocked him out, but I didn't really see him against somebody who's in his prime and he has sufficient skill level to overcome that his aggression.
Yeah. I'm just lean. It's such a hard fight to pick. I might lean towards Inoue for work rate because he's very Rigondeaux-like when he wants to be, and if he goes into his shell and don't let his hands go, he's not going to beat Inoue. But if he catches you clean, he's sparking you out cold, and that's why I was so disappointed with him the other night when he had a chance to. He was on a big card, with a big TV audience, and he stunk the joint out. And that's my problem with Tete, man.
Well, what else is he supposed to do? I mean, he's what? Somebody was going to say something. I thought somebody was going to say something.
No, what do you mean?
By what? What did I say? I already forgot what I said.
You said, what is he supposed to do? When I said about him stinking the joint out.
Oh, yeah, Tete. No. Well, what I meant by that is that he's that type of fighter. You know, so but that doesn't mean he can't beat. You know, first of all, let's see how Inoue looks against McDonald, because yes, McDonald can't punch all that well, but he is a sharp puncher and he has skill. So I think he's gonna give Inoue a couple of good rounds to prepare him for this.
He's going to be more than a couple of rounds. And Jamie McDonald's no chump. He's no chump, mate. He's going to be around. He's going to be letting his hands go. And if Inoue is off his game, he could suffer a defeat. I'm picking Inoue to win it. I think he's just going to walk Jamie McDonald down. But Jamie McDonald's the sort of guy where I keep picking him to lose, and he keeps proving me wrong. So he's one of them that's going to come to fight, and if he's going to throw his hands, and that's what I want to see. So it's going to be a good fight.
Well, he's got motivation to keep winning because his wife. He has to impress that wife of his, otherwise she might just leave him. So he's got to keep that up.
For a twin brother, isn't it?
Yeah, the twins. Yeah. By the way, we got. I see we have Precise on the line.
Depending upon how you interpret the data. What's up with all the transvestites in Hollywood, though? Because if you're a postmodernist and you don't have any standards, you're always going to keep moving the goalpost, and you're never going to stick to your own standards because you don't have any standards.
That's right. Gotta have standards. Very, very important.
Precise? Welcome.
Hey, what's up, bro?
Hey, I want to hear Precise's take on my pound for pound.
Well, first of all, let's see if he even heard it. Did you hear his pound for pound list there, Precise?
No, but let's have some fun. What's up, everybody?
All right, Boxing Style, go ahead, please, if you will. Reiterate your list.
He's going to be like it's trash.
Well, let's wait and see what he says. Go ahead. Come on. Boxing Style, you still have your list there, or?
Don't get cold feet now.
Yeah, he's getting cold feet now. It's his big solo, and he can't fucking play the solo. What's going on here?
I can't hear shit.
Yeah, right.
No, seriously, I couldn't
promise
hear
I won't laugh too hard.
Yeah.
Anyway, listen, if he doesn't want to, he doesn't want to. Fuck it. Let's keep talking about. We're talking about Inoue.
All right, okay.
No, you want to go ahead or not? All right, he doesn't.
Cutting off.
You guys just talk.
I'm cutting off. I don't know. I'm probably my internet.
All right. So when you get that when you get that
sorted out,
out,
you guys not good. Okay, let him say. What is he gonna say about pound for pound?
What is it? What is your pound for pound?
Yeah, spit it out. Spit it out.
All right. I'm gonna say it right now.
Come on, honey.
Loma, Triple G, Usyk, Kovalev, Bivol, Mikey Garcia, Errol Spence, Grove, Gassiev, and Badou.
I would take out the three Westerners and put in like maybe Povetkin, maybe Lebiedev, and Yelusinov just won a fight, so throw him up there too.
Yusinov.
All right.
All right, so there you have it. Precise agrees somewhat with Boxing Style's list. And now, Boxing Style, are you happy now that he didn't lambast?
Yes, I am, because I put some time and effort into this. 10 minutes.
There you go. Well, it's not a bad list. The only thing I disagree with
is... No, it's not a bad list at all.
Yeah, the only thing I disagree with is George Groves in there. I don't think he should be in there.
Oh, yeah, that was a weird one.
10
minutes. Yeah, Groves is good, man. Groves is good. Give him props.
All right.
He's very good, but...
All right, so listen, going back to the Inoue versus what's his name? Tete fight. McDonald, yeah. Tete. So you think he's going to walk him down then?
Yeah, I do. Jay McDonald just lacks strength for me. He's very rangy and lanky, but he just doesn't have a lot of strength. And I think Inoue's going to just walk him down eventually. But see, Jay McDonald's going to pepper Inoue with a lot of shots, but they're not going to cause any damage. This is the problem. He's not going to be able to keep Inoue off him because the punches have got no effect. It's like pitter patter shots, and when you're letting your hands go, you leave openings, don't you? And when people like Inoue are landing clean on you constantly, it's going to take its toll eventually. And I just think that's what's going to happen. I think strength is going to play its part in this one, I think.
Well, hold on. Sorry about that. I got some trouble here. All right, sorry. I didn't hear anything. All I heard was that you think that McDonald doesn't have the strength to keep him.
Did I cut out?
No. I cut out.
No, you didn't.
Yeah. Well, you guys keep talking amongst yourself because I got some emergency here. All right.
I think we need to see Inoue how strong he himself will be moving up whole 3 pounds or whatever it's gonna. Yeah, that's it. It might not seem like a lot, but you know, it makes a big difference down there. Just 3 pounds, as Roman Gonzalez showed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think.
And isn't
I think
McDonald like
Gonzalez-
5'11" or something? Isn't he?
Yeah, he
tall
is.
Guy?
He's like Robert. He's like the white Robert Easter Jr. Isn't he? Do you know what I mean?
But he's tall for the weight, no?
He's massive for the weight, like really tall and lanky and dangly. But I just think the body shots could be key.
Body
with that one as
shots,
well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Body shots. Inoue likes to fight these tall, skinny guys, man.
Work that. Yeah, he walks them down, then he hit him to the body and walks them down.
They can't take it.
No,
I don't know. I'm interested to see what he looks like at the higher weight because, you know, everybody got their limit. I'm not saying 118 is going to be his because I think he's quite a bit bigger than all the super flyweights. But
I mean, 3 pounds.
Time will tell.
Fucking 3 pounds fight shit that in a night, don't they? Fuck's sake. Do you know what I mean? It's not a lot of weight, is it? Let's be real.
Yeah.
So,
we'll see, though. I mean, the guy has no defense.
Gonzalez hit his limit. Gonzalez hit his limit, didn't he? He was just there's only a limit to how many weights you can go up before you start getting found out. And I think Gonzalez hit his limit where I think I knew he could go up another couple of divisions. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm not sold on the guy, as some of you guys probably already know.
You don't
but
like
McDonald's
him.
not that. No, it's not. It's not about liking or disliking the guy. It's just don't. He hasn't proved much to me. You know, being a weight like we criticize everybody for being a weight bully. I don't see why he should have escaped that same criticism. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, are you picking with him and Tete? Would you pick Tete to beat him then?
You know, I've never seen Tete fight except for that one quick knockout he had that one time. So I can't really say. But
yeah,
we'll see. At this point, I would say it could go either way, but that's an ignorant statement.
Hey, let me ask you guys, because you all seem to have actually touched on this subject many times. Precise, what's up, brother? How you doing?
How's it going, man?
What's going on, partner? Listen, oh yeah, I said partner before. BDA is like, oh, wait a minute, that's not how we roll. I should have said, no, down here in Boston, it's like buddy, I guess, everywhere else. You know what I mean? We say it all the time. So, but, yeah, the fucking weight bully shit, right? A lot of people take issue with that, and I do too. It sucks. You want to get rid of that? It's a simple equation. You get the fucking weigh in the same day. These guys fucking killing themselves to make this weight. Wouldn't do that if they were stepping in the ring, 12, 14 hours later. They can do it because they're getting a night's rest. They'll fucking, like if I was training a kid and he was stripped down to just, even the fat around his intestines was gone, I'd wake him up every 2 hours pumping jars of fucking plain raw fruit. Just, he'd suck it up like a sponge, you know what I mean? The simple carbs and have him blow up overnight.
Jimmy, studies have proved that same day weigh-ins are very dangerous.
But I think the same study shows, though, it's the death rate. I don't think was any different. I have to check more on it. I don't want to say on something and be completely wrong on it. I could be, but I thought I read that it really wasn't that different. But at the same token, right? You agreed it is dangerous. There is some. Now you have to weigh the danger, though. Isn't it also dangerous when you see fucking kids like that? I don't want to butcher his name. Jaime Munguia. Munguia. When Munguia was, shame on Vargas for getting in there, but come on, that fight wouldn't have taken place. You know what I mean?
It's easy to stop.
Vargas what's that?
This is easy to stop. All you got to do is do what the IBF do: put a £10 limit on what you can go, the weight you can put on overnight, and it will stop the weight bullies going and eating up 25 pounds or 20 pounds. Look at Turo Gatti. This is why they stop the same day weigh-ins. That guy do a weigh-in and then go and eat some fucking pasta. Next minute he's like 20 pounds heavier. So, this is
dangerous. But that's dangerous for the guy that rehydrates 20 pounds. When you don't let him do that, he's in that ring also dehydrated. So,
and after the Golovkin Jacobs fight, I don't believe in that IBF shit anymore.
Yeah, you could skirt around that.
You can't tell me he wasn't in a different fucking weight class. I mean, Jacobs.
Now, if the IBF let that happen, then that's total corruption, because all the British fighters that have held them IBF titles, because the IBF is a title the Brits like to go for, isn't it? Let's be real. All of them have had to stick to that £10 weight limit on the fight night sort of thing. So if Jacobs was fighting for the IBF and it was under IBF rules and he was allowed to go up to 185 pounds, then that's an absolute disgrace.
If you really want to solve the problem, if you really want to say the problem of, you know, all these little guys fighting big guys, which I personally don't have a problem with that, and I'll explain in a second, but if you really want to make it as even as possible, you got to get doctors involved. You got to do constant medicals on these guys, and you have to have a doctor determine on some predetermined guidelines what weight this guy is, and he should not be allowed to fight at a very, very low weight, which, you know, I should say, look, you're either a welterweight or a super welterweight. You can't be doing this, right? And that's the only way you're gonna make this even, because no matter which way you want to shift the pendulum, somebody's always getting fucked. And me myself, I don't have a problem with weight bullies. All I'm saying is I'm gonna give you credit because you're a weight bully, you know, and that's all I'm saying. So, like, I just get sick and tired of all these weight bullies being put on the that defeats the purpose of the whole concept. You know what I mean?
I agree. Lomachenko's a weight bully too.
I see we got X on the line. X, thanks for being on.
With precise. Lomachenko's a weight bully. He's 6 feet, 175 pounds when he fought Little Rigo.
Oh, there you go.
I just like to say, if you had to cut that much of a weight that you even have to shed your water weight by a lot, that you shouldn't be fighting in that weight class.
I still hate you, Pavel. I know you a spy.
Yeah, BDA is going to be right back. So
yeah, this problem could easily be solved. If you think it's a problem, if boxing thought it was a problem, they would solve it very easily. But you know, that means they got to spend money, they got to pay some doctors, establish guidelines, and figure this shit out. Basically, you know what I mean? And it wouldn't be that difficult. It's just money, money, money.
Well, I don't think they're going to take care of. They're going to attack the weight bully issue when you look in the fucking corner and you're still seeing Adelaide Bird judging fucking boxing matches. You know what I mean? Is baby steps. We need to get the judges the first and foremost. They're going to be held accountable. That's got to be an oversight there. Some committee's got to get started. Yeah, some committee has to get started. They have to answer to somebody. What other position in the world, job, that you don't have to answer to anybody? Everybody's got to answer to somebody. You know, even fucking the president's got to answer to critics in Congress and everybody else. These
I don't answer to nobody.
I know you don't, X. God bless you, brother. But fucking these motherfuckers don't have to answer to nobody. They just shake their head. Oh, and then we get Bob Bennett, that fucking mouthpiece cocksucker, coming up and grabbing a microphone. Yeah, she had an off night. Ooh, really? We're going to sit her down for a while. What are you talking about, Bob? So what are you saying? The 4 months she had off, instead of just saying her time off, now that's a suspension? You fucking, that's the worst part, is then they talk to us like we're fucking, you know, we're on the cast of fucking, what's that show with those special kids? I just saw last night in A&E and rerun or something. Yeah, I was like, yeah, that's how the fucking people in boxing talk to the fans. It's ridiculous.
They should just call it a 6-month vacation. We gave Canelo a 6-month vacation.
And what they did to Bird when they pulled her credentials for 4 months, she had the time off anyways. It's just ridiculous. And we take it. And just speaking of Canelo, is there anybody, I mean, can somebody answer me why wasn't that hair test, which was the crutch of his whole argument, when he had that public argument, you know what I mean, the hearing, when his attorney was there and the doctors were there and his news media, why wasn't that mentioned right? That should have been the first thing out of his mouth. Hey, I just want to announce 2 weeks after we, got the test, we already had hair pulled. Why would it? There would have been no reason to keep it quiet other than one. You didn't know what the results were going to be. Period. That's the only excuse.
You didn't want to fight Golovkin.
Right. Of course.
They both should be suspended. Canelo and Golovkin.
And Bob Bennett.
And Bob Bennett. And that faggot De La Hoya. And that cool Bernard
Hopkins. So what do you guys want? Like a national commission or something?
What up, Boxing Junkie?
This is my YouTube highlight here, man. Just fucking on the phone with X finally.
I would
Everyone's gone off. Am I still on?
I'm gonna change my pound for pound. I forgot Terence Crawford.
Yeah, I was gonna say you forgot Canelo as well. To be honest with you.
Oh yeah, Canelo too. I'm gonna have to look into all that shit.
Yeah, if you want to, obviously with the pound for pound thing is whether you want to take the drugs into account, isn't it? It's a tough one. It's a tough
It's
one.
pretty hard, man. After the first three, the top three. After that, it's pretty hard to guess who is.
If I was to pick a pound for pound 10, I'd probably go Lomachenko 1. I'd probably go Golovkin 2. Usyk Gassiev winner 3. Crawford 4. Canelo 5. It's not easy, is it? It's not
easy at all, man. It's the first time I'm trying.
Yeah,
what about again?
You've got fucking hell. You've got to put yeah, it's difficult. I'd have to sit down and start thinking. Mikey Garcia would probably get in there just. That's just being kind to my Mexican friends. I'm not really keen on putting it. Do you know what I mean?
You got to fill the quota, man.
Yeah, you've got to fill the quota. There's a space for Badou Jack to get in there, top 10 tonight. I think if he wins.
I'm going to look into it again. I'm going to let you guys know. I'm going to redo this.
Yeah. I've not got Joshua and Wilder anywhere near it. I'm not even entertaining them two.
Oh, no, there's no way.
I'd love to put Manny Pacquiao in there, but we just don't know. We just don't know what Manny Pacquiao.
I would put Manny Pacquiao in there, but he hasn't done much lately. So,
but if you do put Manny Pacquiao in there, who do you put above him? That's the problem. I mean, I can't think of anyone who you would put above him.
Even though Spence is a dangerous,
maybe Povetkin. Maybe Povetkin. Yeah. Above Pacquiao.
But even with Spence, when people have got Spence in there, I mean, Spence he's got a good win against Kell Brook, but that's it. Is that enough to get you in the pound for pound list? Because Kell Brook wasn't in the pound for pound list before that.
He stopped Lamont Peterson pretty bad, man. That's all.
Come on, man.
So did Matisse. Yeah. Matisse did a better job on him.
Matisse almost killed him.
Yeah.
But I can say honestly, comes talking about Spence. The reason why I have him on my top 10. Because he's right there, right? He's an exciting kid. I mean, the kid would pick up his fucking skirt and jump over to England. I mean, that was Brooke, right? He was like, "Nah, you want to fight? You want my belt? Come over here." Because of course, every PBC guy and every American guy was like, "Nope, nope, nope." And fucking Spence, okay, went over there, took care of business, and then everybody thought Durrell was going to give him a lot harder time, and fucking went right through him. Not Durrell. Who did he take out?
Peterson.
Was it Durrell?
Peterson.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, Lamont Peterson. I mean, demolished him. So that for me right now, that kid is must see. I think you know what I mean. So that's why I have him on there.
I don't really use the eye test as my my reasons for picking my fights, because with the eye test you can get real talents that look superb. They've got all the punches but they're doing it against bums. When you start stepping up the levels, are they still doing it against them sort of fighters? That separates world-class fighters to pound for pound greats, if you're pound for pound elite fighters, shall I say. So that's why Errol Spencer's got a very good win on his resume, and with the eye test, he's a very, very good fighter, don't get me wrong. Pound for pound fighter, technically and skill-wise. But when you look at the resume, there's just nothing there. And
I agree. You're talking like a legit pound for pound right now, rated through everything, resume, technique, everything. Oh, yeah, of course. It just isn't there. It doesn't have enough seasoning yet. But I'm just saying for in my personal pound for pound, I just go by who I want to see the most. But I agree. He wouldn't be on a top 10 right now. He couldn't be if you went through all the criteria.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm putting Real Versailles in there. Real Versailles in my list, definitely. I think he deserves. I think that win over Roman Gonzalez was a big enough win to put him in that list. Do you know what I mean? And Estrada as well. I mean, that's two fucking really good wins. Do you know what I mean?
How many weight divisions has Rungasvag gone up?
No.
But to me, I don't pick my fighters in my pound for pound list through how many divisions they've gone up, because we've seen so many times these fighters going up these divisions, picking these fucking weak champions and classing themselves as 4-weight champions. In the history books, it looks impressive, but when you're around to see it with your own eyes, it's a fucking circus act. So you've got to.
Well, let me ask you right now. I mean, think about it. It was time memorial, a 4-division weight champion. You punched your ticket. You're in the Hall of Fame, first class, no question. First vote, you're going in.
They're not champions. They're not champions.
Right, exactly.
They're just title holders.
Exactly. So would anybody on this panel right now put Broner in the Hall of Fame if he retired today?
Fuck no.
Hell no.
Ricky Burns. Come on.
Exactly. So it's like so many other things in this sport. It's just lost its, like what fucking Oscar just did to the Ring magazine belt. Now it's a useless trinket.
Yeah, you got to be Lenio for it to really mean something, or at least consensus, the #1 guy at the weight where no one disputes that you're the best guy. Period. Like Lomachenko at 130, even though he wasn't Lenio, he was the man in that weight class. We all know this.
Yeah, that's why I'm so much more impressed by Unified Undisputed. When you hold every belt, like I'm on top, come push me off. That's the fucking shit there. You know what I mean? Jumping around and picking off the easiest opponent just to grab a belt in each division. Come on. I mean, we see right through it. I mean, listen, I respect the fight that Lipinets put forth. I mean, everybody, I'll tell you right now, even Garcia's people, I bet you didn't know he was going to fight like that. But he went after that. He went after Lipinets for that reason.
Yeah.
Somebody building a house back there?
Lipinets could be the best 140 though. If Mike is not there, I guess.
No chance. No chance.
No way.
Pro guy. I'm telling you.
Who's better than Lipinets?
Pro guy.
Pro guy.
I like that Rougarou. I like that Rougarou kid, man. There's something about that kid, yeah. I like to see him against Ramirez. I'm sorry for talking over you, brother.
No, I was just gonna say, Jimmy, I like to see them fight, them two, Prograis and Lipinets. That'll be a good fight.
Well, I guess Lipinets isn't being a lot. I'm sorry.
I'm just going to throw it out, Jimmy. I agree with you and Precise on that. Who is supposed to be the man in the division that gets the recognition? For example, I don't give a flying fuck about who Golovkin is going to fight. If it's going to be a Billy Joe Saunders or a Canelo, it's irrelevant to me at that point. That guy is widely regarded as the #1 guy in the middleweight division, period. And I don't care if he becomes undisputed or not at this point.
Yeah. Like these stupid standards that I hear, some boxing fans that upload videos. If you're not undisputed, I don't consider you whatever. I don't recognize you as one of the best fighters or the best or the champion at that division. It's like the guy has if a guy has 3 belts, right? Which, by the way, if you're a Marvin Hagler fan, you got to realize Golovkin had those same 3 belts.
So these people are telling us they never called anybody the best in any division for a decade and a half. Is that what they're really saying?
But they're not saying that really. They're saying it, but they're not really, it depends.
Because they got no standards. They just jumped all over Crawford's dick because he was fortunate enough to collect all those belts off all those bums. And so it makes him look good, I guess.
And Floyd never did it, did he? He never unified a division, did he? I was thinking Floyd.
Nope.
No.
With Pacquiao.
He never became undisputed, like winning all the belts.
Yeah. Exactly. He had a couple of chances. More.
And the same people would disregard Kostya Tszyu as the man just because he didn't have all those fucking 4 trinkets, even though the WBO didn't even count at that time.
Oh, he was undisputed, just like Lennox Lewis was undisputed, yeah. Lennox didn't have the WBO. Nobody gave a fuck about the WBO.
Well, listen,
that 140 division that Crawford cleaned up, honestly, I don't mean to be a hater, but it was fucking god-awful division. Let's be real.
Oh, yeah.
Dreadful division. I tell you what, this 140 division now is actually a lot stronger than it was when Crawford was dominating. He'd have better fights now. I think there's a lot of young fighters coming through that could probably give him a better fight than these chumps that he's been fighting.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, man. I'm glad
We'll see how Josh Taylor gets on with. I think I've cut off. Postal. We'll see how Josh Taylor gets on with Postal, and we'll take it from there. But that was a poor division that he dominated.
Well, I'm glad you brought that 140-pound division up because, like I mentioned, I think 2 weeks ago, the World Super Series is trying to make, like I said, a bantamweight tournament and a junior welterweight tournament, and they think they've already got the top players lined up. It would be Baranchik, it would be Troyanovsky, who I think is the weakest of the tournament. But anyway, Troyanovsky, Josh Taylor, Kirill Relik, Prograis, and what's his name? Fuck, I forget the guy's name. The black kid from Golden Boy. I think he's from Golden Boy Promotions, undefeated, and some other undefeated guy from Sweden. Those would be the 8 guys in the tournament. So
Devin Haney.
Yeah, Haney. Thank you. Yes, Haney. The only names that would be missing would be Orozco and Jose Ramirez and Sergey Lipinets. But other than that, it's really the top guys, some of the top guys in the division, plus some unknowns that people might
They're
know.
gonna put Henny in the tournament?
Yeah. Well, they want to.
Wow.
He says
19.
he wants to.
That kid is only 19 years old.
I would love to see Haney in that tournament.
Well, it's not official yet.
Something. So you said that Prograis is going to be in that tourney?
Well, first he has to get
or whatever that is.
First, he has to get through Juan Jose Velasco, some Argentinian undefeated guy. But with these Argentinians, you never know, man. They could be these unknown undefeated Argentinians. They could either be very good or completely awful. So we're gonna see how Prograis looks. But yeah, if he wins, he said he wants in, and they say they have a spot for him open.
Yeah, that 140 division, it needs something like this tournament to give it the kick up the arse it needs to get going, because it's been a poor division for a long time. And I think these tournaments are a great idea for some of the divisions that are not getting the recognition, like the Diva division, the 147 division. It's the Diva division. It gets all the recognition, but none of these fighters want to fight each other. They're all fucking running from each other. So I like it that these other divisions are getting a bit of fucking limelight. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, do you guys know, is Sergey Lipinets, he's represented, is he represented by Al Heyman still, or wasn't he?
I think so. He's fought a bunch of times on Showtime, I think, under the PBC umbrella.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I think he's represented by Show. All right, so my question is this. Why is he on Twitter actually publicly complaining on Twitter that he didn't, and he wants to be on that tournament, but yet Prograis is? So obviously Al, because in the last tournament, I don't think any Al's fighters made it in, either divisions. And so this division, this time he is, but yet I wonder why he's not letting Prograis in. Huh. Anyway, I was just wondering. I mean, if they're letting Prograis, but not Lipinets.
So Lipinets is not going to be in that tournament?
And he wants to. He's actually tweeted out that he's complaining on Twitter that they're not letting him in.
BDA. Who's actually running this tournament? BDA, who's running this tournament?
Well, if I remember correctly, the Super WSS is run by what's it, Sunderland, or am I getting that wrong?
Sauerland.
Yeah. I think it's
a Sauerland event, is it? Yeah.
Well,
that's probably why then, because Sauerland, I think, has the TV rights in the tournaments. I'm sure he does.
Right. And by the way, just to correct, the guy that I'm talking about, the American who would be in that tournament, is not Devin Haney. It's another guy, not the 19-year-old. Fuck, I'm trying to find the article. But anyway, it would be Devin Haney. It would be some other American undefeated guy. It's a black guy. I forget the guy's name. Fuck. But anyway,
Stevenson.
It's not
Stevenson. That narrows it down, BDA. Fucking hell.
Fuck, I'm trying to find the name. Anyway, but yeah, that would be the tournament.
Yeah, I thought Haney was too young. I'm sorry, BDA, but I would think that they probably view Haney as too young to compete in that weight class. He could get beat up.
He's way too
young
by
him being too young. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't want to be sticking 19-year-olds in the tournament with.
Oh yeah, let me tell you that when it comes to fighting, and you're 19 years old and you're fighting men in their 20s, it's a different ball game.
We find out
three tough fights after another in a tournament. You're gonna have to fight 3 tough fights, one after another, and I just
get the shit beat out of them.
I don't care if you're a blessed 19-year-old.
Haney is a beating waiting to happen.
Right.
All right, finally I found it. It's Ryan Martin. Ryan Martin. He's the one that.
Who the fuck is he?
Who the fuck is that guy?
I'm gonna put up the picture on the
28 on BoxRec.
28 on BoxRec. Well, fuck BoxRec. You know their goddamn rankings. Who knows how they run that? I'll put the picture up so people will recognize. You must have seen him fight on Showbox. There it is, a couple of times. 22 and
wild card.
22 and 0. Yeah, I think he's a wild card. Either him or that Swedish guy that's also going to be in the tournament, undefeated Swedish guy. He beat Prescott last 2 weeks ago, was it? Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
5'11". Holy shit.
Yeah, he's a tall dude for that division. Very tall dude. And here you have the article from Ring Magazine. Finally found it. but that's the one that details what's going to be happening in the division. So this was from the 8th of May. And the other guy that they want to put in there is Yigit, Swedish guy, southpaw. He's 21-0 with only 7 knockouts. But I've been watching him fight. Obviously, you can tell he's got no punching power based on how he fights, but he's pretty mobile. I think he had a good amateur record as well. So this is a pretty fucking interesting tournament, man. I don't know, you know, there's, like I said, there's Jose Ramirez and Orozco missing, but other than that, it's some of the top guys, and Josh Taylor's gonna be in there as well, man. So fuck.
Yeah, it's what we need as boxing fans. We want to see the best fights, and these tournaments guarantee us the best fights in the divisions as long as they turn up on the night.
Mm-hmm.
So who you guys got for this fight tonight, Adonis and Badou?
We've just done about an hour and a half on that. I'm going for Jack on points. Late stoppage, I think. Well, I've got points, possibly a late stoppage. I think that's what I said.
I got Jack by decision.
Jack by decision as well.
Hey, by the way, Precise, did we get your prediction?
Stevenson by KO.
I need your prediction, Precise, for the archives.
It's a 50-50 fight, which I'm sure everybody already said. Difficult to pick. But in my humble opinion, you got to go with the young buck, man. My only concern is the politics, obviously. Well, that's not the only concern. I mean, obviously, Stevenson's left hand is turning also. So I'm guessing, I hadn't listened to the predictions. I'm guessing people are saying if Badou Jack gets past the first 6 months, he's going to probably wear Stevenson down and beat him up a little bit toward the end, maybe stop him, maybe get a decision, maybe get robbed. I think whether or not he gets the decision, I think Jack wins the fight. Stop Stevenson. It could happen, but whatever you do, man, don't bet on this fight.
All right. Wait. Okay. Let's just break this up.
I have 50 G's on Stevenson. KO.
50 G's. 50 G's on Stevenson.
Man.
But
I don't bet, but I picked Stevenson 5th round knockout. I see 5th round knockout.
Wait a minute. You said Stevenson 9th round knockout before.
Last time it was just a rough estimate, like I just threw it off the top of my head. But then
okay.
I'm going with 5 now.
All right, perfect.
What's Stevenson's best win? Did you guys talk about this? If so, let's not go there. But like, what's his best win? I'm not talking about the name, but like best win.
Chad Dawson.
Yeah, I don't think so, but that's the best name for sure. That's the most recognizable guy. But if you look at Chad Dawson, he got his ass beat by Andre Ward and then got that controversial decision over B-Hop. So he was shot, and then we saw that he wasn't worth anything after.
The argument is that he was the champion at the time. He was a lineal champion. That's what
I mean, yeah, none of that really matters. We're talking. I'm just saying. I'm not saying on paper, right? Obviously, that was his best win on paper. I'm talking about the best opponent that he beat, the best quality of a fighter. Because Chad Dawson, I think we could all agree, was shot by then. Jean Pascal gave him the business.
There's no one else, though. That's the thing. There's no one else on Stevenson's record that we can talk about. That's even. Unless you want to bring fucking Tony Bellew into this, or
no, Bellew had 2 controversial fights with Chilemba, so we can't give him that one.
Of course we can't. And then there's Fonfara, who went life and death with Cleverly. So
yeah, you can't rate him Fonfara, I'm afraid.
I don't know, like Fonfara, he I think it was in the first fight. Yeah, the first fight, he won the battle of the jabs, and he knocked him down, but I don't really know. Fuck it.
Fonfara beat Chad Dawson, so it has to be Fonfara. What are you guys talking about?
His best win was...
and he was on a roll, actually. And I'm not saying he's great or anything like that, but he had momentum. He was the only guy that had some kind of momentum going into the fight with Stevenson. Other than that, Stevenson has been fighting all these cherry-picked fights at the right time. On paper, some of them look good, too. But other than that, who has he really beaten? Fonfara is arguably his best win.
I agree with that.
His last fight? Is Fonfara his last fight?
Yeah, from far wasn't that? Yeah, that was his last fight. You're
The
right.
rematch, yeah.
The
But that was the
anticipated
rematch.
I missed that.
Stevenson's best.
I missed the second fight. How did it go?
It
He
didn't.
slept him.
It's a quick knockout.
He knocked him out in the second round, fourth round, something like that.
Yeah, but Smith did a better job on him and knocked him out in the first round. So you know how good of a win was that? I'm talking about the first time he fought him. That was his best win, honestly.
Yeah, I think Smith
Then he
broke
got
Fonfara.
dropped too.
Fonfara looked shot to pieces. He looked shot to pieces, mate. So yeah, when you talk, that's why. That's why he's not in my pound for pound list, bro. I won't put Stevenson in there. What for? If you can have the argument that Fonfara is his best win, then who? A fucking shot Chad Dawson. Then who? A Tony Bellew that looked like Tom Hanks from Philadelphia with a day to live.
Darnell Boone,
I mean,
bro.
so-
19, 20, and 3. Darnell Boone is like his top 3 win, honestly.
Yeah, and he's got defeat to
I
Darnell.
can't put Stevenson
After first getting knocked out by him.
He's got a loss to Darnell Boone as well. Let's not forget that one.
But that's why I rate Darnell Boone, because he beat Adonis.
Got Warren Kovalev as well.
Yeah.
I could only put Badou as the top 10 if he beats Stevenson. I cannot put Stevenson up there.
But the reason why I brought this up is because I wanted you guys to make my point for me. Like, you know, Stevenson gets a lot of credit. Obviously, he has a lot of haters. A lot of people underrate him, but then there are a lot of people that overrate him. If you really take an honest look at his resume and what he's done against the type of opponent that he's fought, he really hasn't done anything. Even the names that he beat them when they were at their absolute worst. Tavoris Cloud, one fight prior to that, I think got his ass beat by Campillo and got that gift decision. But he got destroyed by a guy with not a lot of punching power. So
not mentioning the people about that he ducked.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
very few careers have been cherry-picked, managed, and pissed away as good as fucking Stevenson's career has. I mean,
Stevenson's biggest win was when he only got sentenced to 3 years.
Oh, Jimmy with a fucking knockout blow like that.
Hey, BDA, remember when I told you that thing is bigger? What's his name?
Jack.
Badou is bigger than Steve. Yeah, Stevenson. I take that back, man. Stevenson is definitely bigger than Badou.
I told you, man. He's fucking short.
like
I've seen this guy in
wider,
person, man. He's a block of stone, this Adonis Stevenson. Yes, he's short. And some people say that he could still make 168. I don't know if that's true or not, but the guy looks massive. Absolutely massive.
Heavier. Badou was 175 and Stevenson was 173.
That doesn't mean shit. That could just mean Stevenson lost more weight, water weight, and he could. For all we know, he's gonna come in heavier than Jack tonight in the ring. So, I mean, let me tell you something. Stevenson, maybe let's say they're equal. Whatever. Is strength really gonna play a factor here? Maybe it would down the line if Stevenson gets tired down the stretch. But if he's fresh,
it is because Badou. First of all, Badou doesn't. I told you he can't fight anybody with a very, very good jab. He just can't, man.
Well, Stevenson doesn't have a jab.
Stevenson came into boxing from the streets, right?
Jab, but
that's a lie. George Groves has got one of the best jabs in boxing, and he beat George Groves. So that's a lie.
I think Groves beat him. My opinion.
Yeah, well, a lot of people, there's some people out there did. I think I might have had Groves winning by a point, but I had no problem with Jack getting the decision because Jack was doing the more damage. So for me,
he did knock him down too.
Yeah, it's not controversial for me, but you could say Groves won that fight. But let's be real, you said he can't fight guys that with a good jab. George Groves has got one of the best jabs in boxing.
Stevenson doesn't have a jab. He don't got one.
He got a decent jab, man. He got a really
good jab.
Let's be honest. This is Stevenson's been champ for 5 years, man. You look at his resume. I just looked at it. It's fucking horrible. Oh, his championship resume is a joke, right? So and this is definitely his best opponent, Jack. And he's taking that kid up from 168. So he's not like he's taking on an established light heavyweight. He's actually his best opponent. After 5 years, he's pulling up from a lighter division.
Jim, he's protected. The guy is a coward.
Man. He's afraid to fight. What's his name? Bivol, Kovalev. What's the other guy? Berdowski. I forgot. I can't pronounce his fucking name right.
Karpensi.
Yeah. He's afraid to fight all those guys. That's why that's the biggest challenges. He ain't gonna fight them.
He didn't even call out Andre Ward. He didn't even want a part of Ward.
No. He called Andre Ward.
Ward ducked him. Ward ducked him.
I can't remember him calling Ward's name. I can't remember.
I think he would have knocked Ward out.
He was chasing him around all the way from 168.
I don't remember. If Ward doesn't get to his balls first, I think Stevenson would have knocked him out.
Well, we'll be seeing.
He would have to go for his nuts early, real early.
I wonder what a fight with AJ would be like. Straight nut shots, bro. Salido style.
I'm actually surprised.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think? This a lot of people are saying Ward is going to come back to fight Bellew. A lot of people think that has teeth. You guys think it's going to happen? It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest for him to come back and avoid mandatory.
Ah, shit. Well, we got people.
It doesn't happen.
Yeah, people
It's
dropped
all right,
out.
I'm here. BDA, I'll keep you comfortable.
No, it was gonna happen anyway. Just whoever dropped, just rejoin.
That was me.
No, yeah, I know. It's like I said, it happens every fucking 2 hours, and then after that, it's gonna happen more often. But I just wanted to say, well, before everybody comes back in, we had people dropping out, and I just wanted to say that I'm actually surprised that to hear you people defending Andre Ward when it comes to the Stevenson issue.
Not me, bro.
No, I think I'm the only one that said that. I didn't hear him calling out Ward's name. I mean, everyone in the chat is saying. Everyone's saying.
No, he did.
Yeah, well, everyone in the chat saying Ward ducked him, so I take it he did. I just don't remember Stevenson calling his name.
Key Ward fan.
I don't. Hey, mate, Andre Ward actually put me off boxing for a very long time. I actually lost my love for boxing after what Andre Ward did to Kovalev. I left a real bad taste in my mouth. I was actually not watching fights. I wasn't going onto channels and checking channels and watching their updates. I just totally lost love for the sport, and that's what a decision like that can do to you, or corruption like that can do to you.
Let's not talk about the maggot, bro. Let's not give that fucking maggot any more shine that he doesn't deserve. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, he's gone. He's gone now.
But he's the son of God. Come on, how can you talk about
that maggot got brain injuries, bro? He ain't coming back. He's too terrified to come back.
I just don't know how you can call yourself, like, handle yourself, even amongst other fighters. How do you go to, like, the fucking, when he shows up eventually to the Hall of Fame ceremony, how do you look at other fighters when you know, and they know you lost that fight? When Floyd Mayweather's even tweeting out, you lost, dude. It is what it is. You lost. And for him to not only, if he would have kept his mouth shut and said, let's get back right in there, you know what? Yeah. I don't fucking do the judging. He handled himself like a man and said, I don't fucking do the judging. Let's do this right away. Yeah. Instead, he dicked around with the fucking, I'm the winner, so therefore I take the fucking control of the fight now. I get to control the terms. Like, you fucking maggot. Seriously,
Jim, the worst thing is when he claimed retirement, bro. He claimed retirement after the first fight. I was like, this dude is kicking out. Come on, man. That was a close fight. Apparently, it was not even close, but let's just say it was a close fight. And you're going.
Wouldn't travel. Never traveled. He wouldn't only fight unless, you know what I mean? The fucking gloves have to be his way. He had final say on judges, on where the fight took place. Everything. Just every aspect.
He had your trainer on payroll. Everything.
He's just, there's nothing about him I respect, and there's usually something about one fighter I can respect or say something good about. I just don't like him. He's the last American to win a gold medal. That was 14 years ago, and you know what? And what the thing when he pisses me off the most would be the fun thing I say on him when he talks about what he's given to the sport of boxing as he jumps in his fucking rolls. It's like, you really think you've given back to the sport what you've taken from it? Seriously, dude.
Let's not pretend what he's been given, like $2.5 million to fight Brand and people like that. So he's been overpaid most of his career. He's had everything go his way. He's had a whole
money from Rock. Yep. I'm sorry, money from Rock Nation, the fucking HBO contract, and for what? What you've given back? What, you can't even sell 130,000 pay-per-views? And that was probably more Kovalev fans. You know what I mean? It's just, dude, you did nothing. You offered nothing but excuses. And then to go to the lowest common denominator when you fucking feel all the shit running on you, you jump and you pull the race card. You blame the racist media when fucking HBO's been shoving you down our throats for years. Yeah. You son of a bitch.
When he played the race card, when he was playing the
race card. That's it for me, man. That's it for me.
Like, yeah, he's right. I mean, he is white, so there is some bias towards white people in boxing.
You know what's amazing though? He's like promoting Bivol now to actually beat Kovalev and the rest of the guys in the light heavyweight division because he knows he can't do it himself. And he was sucking it with Barrera when he was fighting Barrera. Barrera was giving him a hard time, and Bivol just destroyed Barrera. So he's like comparing himself to Bivol, man. It's ridiculous, bro. You can't even compare yourself to Bivol.
Well, and I'll tell you one more thing.
Carl Froch reckons Andre Ward retired because he don't want no part of Bivol. I see him say it.
Bivol would fucking eat his lunch. No, that's easy work for Bivol, and I swear to God, and I'd stand by that. It's not just my dislike for him, but I'll tell you another thing. I'll go one step further. I would bet my life, and I have nothing but my own, suspicion, but I bet my life John David Jackson was telling his people, go to the body. They knew coming into that fight that fucking Kovalev was, not taking his road work serious. And you find out later how much disdain was in the camp. And then the fact that he was actually still talking to Kovalev. What was he talking on the phone about? It only takes one offer to say, hey, you want to come work for us? It was multiple conversations. That was because they were telling him, listen,
set up,
doing his road work. Fucking, I bet my life on that.
Kovalev was
life on that.
Kovalev was drunk.
James Prince was the orchestrator of all that.
All right, you know what? We actually talked about this. I think on Thursday or Tuesday, was it? No, I think Wednesday. We talked about this. I don't know if we want to go back to the whole fucking Andre Ward Kovalev Ward 2 fight, but I just want to address something else as well. People dropped out, and then Cameron jumped in, but Pavel didn't get time to jump in. So Cameron, you took Pavel's spot, man.
Listen, man, fuck it. Do you know what, man? I don't even know who's won the fucking fight tonight, man. I've just got in. I've been out drinking tonight. I don't know who's won the fucking Selby fight. I don't know who won the other fucking undercard fights. I've literally just jumped on here because I thought to see if you lot are on still. I have no idea who won the fucking fight.
Huh. He fucking missed British boxing to go out drinking.
Listen, man, it was funny.
Cameron, Josh Warrington won easily on points for me.
Fuck's sake, man.
Hey, I think he battered Lee Selby up a little bit, to be honest with you.
Was that expected or an upset?
It's an upset, bro. It's an upset, definitely.
I was watching the undercard, but then I got invited out, like, what, about 9? So I thought, you know what, man? Fuck it, it was like 2 girls, and I thought, fuck, I might as well go out with them. So I thought, fuck it, I can watch the boxing later on, but honestly, man, I thought Selby was going to dominate that fight, so... Fuck.
Cameron, you put money on it or what?
Nah, I didn't put money on it, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because Pavel, I mean, what are we going to do? Are you going to stay here or? Because I don't know how we're going to work. And by the way,
somebody wants to drop out?
If somebody wants to drop, I'm not sure. But...
I'll drop back. I want to listen anyway.
All right, Carl. Thanks for joining, by the way. Good to have you on.
Cheers.
I only quickly came on because I want to talk about Stevenson fight. That's why I didn't watch the fight.
Cal, okay, so Cal, thanks for joining, man. He just left, so that opens up another spot for Pavel. Yeah, by the way, we're gonna be having full houses from now on. You gotta get here early. I mean, we're gonna save some spots for the regulars, but it's gonna be first come, first serve. You know
what you guys got for Gary Russell and Jojo Diaz?
All right, just barrel through what I'm saying here. Yeah, I hope everybody got what I said.
Let the host.
Bro, you gotta work on your timing, bro. I'm not saying my timing's immaculate, but you really gotta work on yours.
Man, I'm timing like 6-7 people at the same time, man.
Boxing style, you've got David Hay timing. You've got David Hay timing, bro.
I let one guy stop talking and then I move in, and then next thing you know, someone else is talking.
Who the fuck's Giaddy John join the fucking call, man? Who the fuck's got Giaddy John as their fucking Avi on here, man?
That's Pavel.
What the fuck's going on here, man?
Pavel, what was the name of the guy you said?
Part of a classic.
What was the name of
It's pretty good. What's up, Cameron?
Thank you. What's going on, bro? Sorry I took your spot. I didn't realise. I was waiting to get on, man. And as soon as people jumped off, I thought I'm taking my fucking opportunity, man. It's all
yeah, but you saw that they jumped. They didn't jump off. They got
don't
cut
worry
off.
About that.
Yeah, but Cameron, you saw that they didn't jump off. They got cut off. You know how that happens.
That's what I'm saying, man. When it got dropped off, I thought I'm taking my fucking opportunity. Listen, man, it's every man for himself in this fucking world.
Nah, don't do that, man. That's fuck. That's
no blame from Cameron, and I have to give a shout out to Carl who lent me his spot. I mean, much appreciated, bro. And
by the way,
hope you join the next time.
There's no anarchy here. There's rules. We were not fucking hippies with anarchy fucking beliefs.
Speaking of anarchy,
well, I got a date with Christy Mack, so I'll jump off in a little bit.
Christy Mack? Oh, wait a minute. I don't. That's a pretty good date right there, man.
She's cheating on you. She's cheating on you.
Just wait for War Machine. I'm gonna get fucked up if he catches you.
Yeah, you better be careful, Precise.
Oh, that's all right.
And by the way,
what were you gonna say, BDA? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, we didn't even fucking talk about Gary Russell Jr. versus what's his Diaz Jr.
Yeah. Well, look, check this out. I'm not really interested in that fight myself, so I'm just gonna leave you guys. I gotta go eat something. I'm gonna give you guys with something to think about. One last thing. Badou Jack, if you pay attention to that weigh-in, he's starting to develop some mosquito bites around his navel, very much like his like his friend Floyd Mayweather. So ponder that, and I really gotta go eat something. So you guys enjoyed the fights. I got no take on Gary Russell Jr. So
it sounds like
you all be easy.
It sounds like
have a good night. Have a good night, Precise.
See ya, man.
Like I said, something's in that water out in Vegas.
Oh, God.
See ya, bro.
Peace.
All right, so he has no.
You know, those mosquito bites are actually from Africa because he went to Africa.
That sounds like
Linares must have gone there as well then, because he had them all over his back as well.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, I don't know if that's a.
Linares was
by the way,
Linares was training in the Congo, weren't he?
Yeah, maybe. That makes no sense. He was training in the. Hey, listen. Jack is 34, I believe, so he's not getting any younger. So it wouldn't surprise me if now that he's reaching past his physical peak, he might be trying to take care of some supplements in order to give him a boost in his performance. But be that as it may, it's still a 50-50 fight. Most of you guys are split. Let's just go ahead and reread the predictions, just so we got everything sorted out. All right. Stu is picking Jack by points. Pavel is picking Jack by decision. Boxing Style says Stevenson by KO in the 5th round. Apology said Jack in the 11th round by body shot. Bucho said Jack by stoppage. Recognize said Stevenson by stoppage. Boxing Junkie said Badou by decision. John G said Stevenson. Jim by 8th round KO. Jimmy said Jack by decision. Greg said Stevenson by KO. Kyle said Jack by easy decision. Precise said Jack by decision. And who am I missing here?
Precise now says in the chat that TKO.
My man Adonis is going to knock him out Chad Dawson style first round.
Wait a minute. Did I get your prediction?
Yeah, I got Adonis early KO.
No, I hadn't written it down. Okay, so you have
Adonis early KO. That was what I did the other day, I think.
Stevenson by KO, you're saying? Early KO?
Yeah, for 4 rounds, man.
All right. Well, there you go. Yeah, I didn't. What's that? Recognize? I didn't. You broke up there. All right. So anybody want to talk about the Russell Jr. versus Diaz Jr. fight though? Because I mean that's a pretty fucking. That might be the underrated fight of actually the underrated. That's the undercard, and it's I think we're overlooking it a little bit. It's speed versus speed. What?
No, sorry, bro. I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just saying, it's an interesting fight. But I'll let you carry on, bro.
It's speed versus speed, man. Undefeated versus undefeated. Gary Russell Jr. says he's gonna be disappointed if the fight makes it to the distance. Meanwhile, Joseph Diaz Jr. says he wants to take it to Gary Russell Jr. Gary Russell Jr. has been standing his ground more. A lot of people seem to think that he's lifting more weights and he seems stronger. So this might be two guys standing in front of each other and banging it out as opposed to, sticking and moving. So what do you guys think about that? Who wants to go on that one?
Maybe I will start. Well, the thing is about Gary Russell Jr. is that, yeah, he's got one of the fastest hands in the business, right? But what I've seen from 2 fights, from Vasil Lomachenko and his best win, I consider the best win, Johnny Gonzalez, is that he fights most of his fight at one pace. And that's going to be his demise if that guy, Joseph Diaz Jr., can time him out and make his fight his own.
I like that.
No.
I don't know what the fuck I'm saying, man. But yeah, like I was saying, man, Pavel, I actually do apologise for jumping in, man. No, I was taking the piss now, but I actually do apologise for taking your spot, bro.
No, don't worry, man. Don't worry.
I got Joey Diaz because Joey Diaz has more skills, more
Joey.
overall.
Is his name Joey now?
Yeah, Joey
Let's call
Diaz,
him. Let's call him Joey. I like that, Joey Diaz Jr. Yeah, listen, I think Joey Diaz Jr. Well, first of all, I'll ask you, boxing style. Boxing style. I'll ask you, who hits harder? Do you think Gary Russell Jr. or Joey Diaz Jr.?
I can't say that because I don't really know. Honestly, I can't tell you off. But Joey Diaz hits pretty good too. So
yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
I would say Diaz hits harder out of the two.
Really?
Yeah, I probably lean that way.
Boxing style, what's going on? I didn't realise you were on the call, man. What's up, bro?
I've been silent, bro.
Shit, bro. What's going on, man? Yeah, I've got a lot of respect for you, bro.
Good, man. Good. I've been good. How about you?
Yeah, man. I've got a lot of respect for you, man.
Cameron.
Yeah. Likewise, bro.
Hey, Cameron, have you been sniffing that love potion, mate? You're all fucking very friendly tonight, man.
No, man.
Yeah, he's in the nose
I
scan.
don't know what the fuck's going on, but I was just free going.
I think if I was with you now, Cameron, you'd be trying to hug me, wouldn't you? I love you, Stu. Always have done, bro.
Listen, I might just fucking said, listen, man, I got you on Skype, man. You know what I'm saying? I might have sent you a little voice message there.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me, bro.
Hey,
Cameron, realize Precise left as soon as you came, bro. You don't want that heat, bro. You don't
I
want
got
that
a lot of love for Precise as well. You know what I mean? A lot of love for Precise.
All right, can we fucking
what's
stop
up,
this?
Cameron? It's Jimmy. I'll tell you, it's much better to have someone when they tip them be friendly, you know, than the other way.
Oh, yeah, what's going on, bro? I got a lot of respect for you as well, bro. I followed you on Twitter.
Thank you, brother.
I tell you what, I don't have respect for. I don't have respect for X. Fuck him.
Oh, come on.
Right, well, there you
I
go.
got respect. I mean, look, I mean, who's this in the other chat with Lomachenko, Avi?
Matrix, I have no respect for boxing style, bro.
Who's got a Lomachenko picture in here,
Me
man?
too.
Yeah, same one.
Who's got a Lomachenko picture here?
That would be me.
Who are you?
What's up?
Who are you, bro? What's your name?
Boxing junkie.
Yeah, what's up, man? I don't know you, but I've got a lot of respect and love for you.
All right, listen. We're going up, and this is a circle jerk right now. Everybody's stroking each other. Can we stop this, please? It's making me uncomfortable. I much prefer when people. I much prefer when people are fighting each other as opposed to fucking.
Cameron's giving out the respect like no man's business.
Exactly. I don't know what's going on.
Cameron's been drinking, bro. That's what's happening.
Exactly. Boxing style hit it right on the head there. He's been drinking and he's all lovey-dovey right now.
Yeah, apologies, man. Apologies. Where the hell was apology, actually?
I am a victim of masculinity. And
all right, that's enough. That's enough. Let's get back to boxing,
say,
or we fight each other.
Can I just give my opinion on Joseph Diaz Russell? I
Please.
think when you guys were talking about who hits harder, I'd have to give who hits harder to Russell. I think Russell will hit harder than Diaz. That's the one thing Diaz. And I was talking, my problem with Diaz, and I like him. I like fucking great kid. I just like everything about him, but. Everything comes at the same speed, similar to Russell. There's no change up, and it's like this. You can make the equation to like if you're a batter and all you're seeing like 99 miles an hour is fast, but at the time it's not really as fast as it was in the beginning. But that's Joseph Diaz's problem. I haven't really sat down and watched him enough. But in the beginning, when he was first coming up, he was just everything. Everything was the same speed, and if you don't have that eraser. And everything's the same speed. Not only can you time it, if you don't get the whack behind it, it's even easier to catch somebody. And Russell, if he sits down on his shots, can hit pretty good. So, but anyways, that's my opinion on that.
Gentlemen, the boxing junkie. I'm out. I'll catch up with y'all next time. My
all right,
pleasure.
Boxing junkie, thanks for being on, man.
Respect, man.
Take care, brother.
bye.
Yes, sir.
And by the way, we got Reverse just coming in on the line right now.
Reverse me.
That people say that's where you go if you want your career to blow up.
California, man. That's
the land of the pedophiles.
All right, so Reverse, thanks for being on. By the way, I don't know if you heard, but I want to get back. First of all, I want to get back to the Russell versus Diaz fight next, because we haven't even talked about it a lot. But before we continue, Reverse, I want to. We're gonna get to Boxing Style's list where he gave us his pound for pound list. I don't know if you heard, but then I went on to ask whether Donny Nietes should be in the pound for pound list, and I think that you would agree that he should be on there, right?
Yes.
Yeah. See, I knew it. He reverses the biggest Donny Nietes fan. Who's your favorite over Donny Nietes or Inoue?
I think Inoue is a little bit more. I think Inoue is more entertaining, but I think Donny Nietes is the more refined fighter.
There you go. So there you have it, guys.
Someone's got a phone going off, man. Someone's got a phone going off.
Yeah, it's reversed. It's in the back.
In my living room.
And by the way,
BDA, guys, before I make a decision.
BDA, let me give you my top 10. I forgot
to
give you my top 10.
Oh shit, man! Wilder's #1. I guarantee you.
Hey, shut up, boxing style. Don't try to put words in my mouth.
X, you actually are my brother, man. I'm giving that a lot of respect to people today, but you actually are my brother, man. Respect to you, man.
That's right, my brother right there, Cameron. Cameron's my brother. Out of all you white devils, only Cameron's my brother. That's it.
Yes, man.
I got X pound for pound #1 right now.
Oh, there you go.
Well, you should. You should. Before I give my top 10, I heard what Recognize said. Fuck him too. Anyway, so let me give you my top 10, okay? Before I go on. Deontay Wilder, all right? So, yeah, you were right about that. Deontay Wilder's #1. #2, okay? Earl Spence Jr., my nigga. Earl Spence. #3, Terrence Crawford, all right? Good old buddy boy is #3. Now, I'm doing this off the top of my head, so don't rush me. #4, Jamal Charlo. #5.
Jermell Charlo.
Jermell Charlo, that's right.
Fuck.
You knew the game. You know what's going on. #6, Tank Davis. My nigga Tank Davis. Okay? That's right, Tank Davis, goddammit.
All right.
Like I said, I'm doing this off the top of my head, so give me a little chance here, all right? Where was that at? #7 or #6? Yeah, #6.
#10.
Now, #7. Man, shut up, boxing style. Let me get my point.
X, you're killing me here, man. X, you're killing me, man. Get to the fuck.
Sorry. #7. Okay, #7. He dropped off a little bit. Okay, Reagan down. #7. #8.
What's kind of music going on, man?
Turn that shit off, man. Don't disrespect me. Don't disrespect me.
That reminds me of something we need to address later on.
All right, let me get to my #8. #8, man.
Jeez, this is painful. Go ahead.
#9. I'm gonna throw in Sean Porter. Okay, Sean Porter's #9. And #10.
Farrakhan.
Got to give it to my light-skinned brother. My light-skinned brother, Keith Thurman. Okay?
Oh,
that's my top 10.
Well, there you go.
I said Lomachenko for a moment there. I was like,
that's a good pound.
Lomachenko's a fraud, man. He's a fraud.
Shit, X, you my nigga. X, bro, you left out Broner.
Nah, fuck Broner. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I like
Broner. What?
X. What about Danny Jacobs?
He's a slave. I mean, Eddie Hearn got him as a slave now. You know what I'm saying? That when he opened his plantation, who's the first slave he signed? Danny Jacobs. So I ain't got no respect for no Danny Jacobs.
That old transcontinental trade is coming back.
Yeah, he's trying to bring it back. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to bring it back.
All right.
Anyway, I gotta go, man. I gotta get out of here, man.
Before you go, your prediction on Gary Russell versus Joseph Diaz, please.
Come on, man. Gary Russell's gonna win. Gary Russell's gonna win. The black man. Of course he's gonna win.
But how? Decision, knockout? You gotta give us a prediction here.
All right, you know what? I'll say 7th round knockout. My brother
7th round
Gary
knockout.
Russell's gonna take JoJo Diaz out. What kind of fucking name is JoJo Diaz?
Yeah, man.
How will you be underestimated? How will you be underestimated? Gary Russell Jr. Oh, 7.
But did people fall off again?
Pavel's got about 5 different voices, man. I've kind of realised this. Like, Pavel sounds different every time he talks.
All right, people are gonna jump back in. But before
I dropped off. So
yeah, you have to have. You need to have.
So X, sorry, camera or Stu. I'm gonna interrupt you. So
who is this, man?
X, who you be jiving, my nigga?
All right, X is gone. X is gone.
7 round KO.
All right,
like, what the fuck are you talking about, nigga?
All right, X is gone.
X, Hey, seriously. Hey, seriously, I always recognize you as my nigga.
All right. This is turning into a circus here. The fucking Howard Stern show.
I've got Gary Russell Jr. by
All right. Listen, I'm trying to get predictions. Listen, it's time to gather predictions. It's time to gather predictions.
What's going on?
Yeah, it's time to gather. It's time to get a fucking prediction. Excuse me, please. Can anybody hear me, by the way? Wait, fuck. Please.
Hold on, man. Hold on.
Jeez, Luis. All right. It's starting to get a hand. No, don't worry about it. It's not your fault. It's the hangout. And once you get more than 6 people, this shit starts happening. People start jumping off automatically. All right. It's the prediction time here. All right. It's downtime. We gotta put our mouth. We gotta put it all on the line, right? So let's get on Russell Jr. versus Diaz. I'm gonna start in order here. I'm gonna start with Bucho. Bucho, who do you have for Diaz versus Russell? Come on.
I'm going now for. Initially, I said Russell Jr., but I'm gonna go with Diaz by decision.
Unanimous or just decision? You just want to stay with decision?
Close decision.
Close decision. All right.
I don't know what that means, but close, yeah.
All right. Let's go with Stu. Stu, your prediction. All right. I don't know if he's there. Let's go to, and we'll go back to Stu. Let's go to recognize. Recognize your prediction, if you will.
Who did X pick?
I think he picked Russell Jr. by 4th round knockout.
7.
Oh, 7.
I'll say Russell Jr. wins a close, very close decision, maybe even a controversial, like most people think Diaz won.
Oh, okay. All right, so extremely close decision. All right. Reverse, how about you?
I don't know. Neither one of them have really fought anybody, have they?
No, not really. But you get like if I stick a gun on your head and I say, well, not me, I would never do that, but some fucking crazy Mexican puts another crazy Mexican puts a gun to your head and says, listen, you gotta pick somebody. Who would you pick?
I'll do it, man.
Yeah, okay, Cameron will do it.
I guess Russell.
All right, but you gotta give me decision, knockout, TKO.
Mid to late knockout.
Oh, mid to late. Jeez, Luis. All right. When I get back to that later on. Cameron, your prediction.
I mean, who is Diaz's best one?
Jason Velez, maybe, or that last guy he fought. No, you don't know who Jason Velez is, the Puerto Rican guy who. Anyway, listen. That the point.
The greatest.
No, he's not the greatest.
I'm gonna pick Gary Russell Jr. a 10th round stoppage.
Whoa. People picking him by stoppage. Interesting. All right, Cameron, I didn't get your prediction.
Let me try and break this down properly now. I like Russell in this. I think Russell's going to win this fight. I think Russell could be the best of the weight. In terms of featherweight, I think Russell could be the best. I mean, I favour Russell over all the other champions. I mean, I think he'd outbox Cruz. I think he'd beat Valdez. I mean, Valdez too basic. So for me, I think Russell will stop him in the 8th round. I think he'll break him down and get him out of there.
All right. Interesting. The guy
lose to Cruz or Valdez.
Interesting. People
they need to start unifying in that division. That's the thing.
All right. Who do we have left? Recognize he gave his Pavel. How about you? Your prediction?
First of all, I'd like to apologize for the rant that happened for one of my prisoners. I forgot to give him anesthetics, so the issue is resolved now. Basically, about the prediction, Gary Russell Jr., my nigga stops that guy in 7th round knockout.
All right, Russell by knockout. All right, Precise didn't want to give his boxing style. How about you, man?
I said Joy, right? I'm gonna say Joy 10th round stoppage with a body shot.
Whoa, okay, so you're going against the grain here. Joey by stoppage. Body shot, you said?
Wait.
Body shot. He's gonna top him with a body shot.
All right, please reverse, please.
Somebody said, what kind of a name is JoJo, right?
It's a nickname, for Pete's sakes.
What kind of a name is Gary?
Okay, now come on, what is this? What the fuck is this?
Gary Russell sounds like somebody's uncle who ducked the Vietnam draft.
Now, first of all, I do agree with you on that. That is, listen, dodging the draft. Bucho and myself, we served in Vietnam. We served our country. I came back with a metal plate on my head, and I served my country. When I came back, they were spitting on my face, calling me a baby killer. You walk a mile in my shoes, and then we see if you're still so keen on spitting on heroes. All right.
What is Pavel going from sound like Artis Spilker to a fucking American teenager in the hood?
I don't know how he's doing it. Well, hold on. I want to get through. I want to get through these whole predictions. Please. I want to get. Excuse me, please. All right, Pavel, you fucking Pavel. It's not Saturday Night Live. Please. All right, come on, Pavel. Can you hear me? Pavel, 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 can you hear me? Can you hear me? Come on, man. Jesus.
This thing is always rather grim. This sort of thing is always rather grim, but this one had a kind of splendor to it.
I want to get the predictions, please. I want to finish the predictions before we get out of here. Jimmy, your prediction, please.
All right. I'm going with plus it's hometown cooking too. I think is going to play a part. But Gary Russell Jr. decision. They're fighting right in his hometown, aren't they, or in his backyard, pretty much?
Oh, hold on.
Diaz
you said
coming up from Southern California.
I think so. Let me check that out. But so you're saying decision, but it's going to be a robbery?
Well, no, I don't want to say robbery. I think Gary Russell. I think it's too much of a jump up right now for Diaz. I think it's going to be. I don't think he'll stop Diaz, but I just think Gary Russell will be too much experience. And plus, at hometown, if it is a close fight, if it is say a close decision, I'll give it. I'd go with Russell because it's hometown. And plus, he's got two brothers fighting on that card, so. You know what I mean? It's like a big family reunion thing.
Russell's got a lot of brothers, I think. I know he's got a few in boxing, but he's got quite a few brothers.
And by the way, yes, you're right, Jim. They're fighting in his hometown. Well, he was born in Washington D.C., but he now resides in Maryland, in the state of Maryland. That's where the fight's going to be taking place, in the state of Maryland. So you never know, man. The crowd might be with him. They might sway the judges. I don't know.
So Bucho and me are the only ones who have Joe.
Well, I haven't given mine yet. You don't know if I might be picking Joseph Diaz or Joey Diaz.
Yeah, boxers. I actually do love you, bro. But how are you picking Joe, man?
I'm picking Joe, man. I'm going against everybody.
No, when I say that, no homo. You know what I mean? But yeah.
But you know what? It's interesting because Joseph Diaz Jr. before the fight, he's saying that he's the one that wants to walk Gary Russell Jr. down. Meanwhile, Gary Russell Jr. is saying that he's going to be disappointed if the fight goes 12 rounds. So I don't know if this is mind tricks that they're trying to play on each other and they're going to end up boxing. But if they do fight the way they say they are going to, we might be seeing a fucking entertaining scrap here.
Look,
it'll be a good fight. It'll be a good fight.
Yeah, if Russell can take, if Joe can take the punches of Russell, I stand by number. He's going to take him out in the 10th round. But if he's not going to be able to, then you guys are going to be right.
I think this could be a real. I'd say probably a big shout. But I reckon this fight could be a real big fight, early fight of the year contender. I think their styles will gel well.
I don't know about fight of the year contender, but I think it definitely might be a better fight than most people.
I like being optimistic about the sport. You know what I mean? I like to be optimistic. I think there's a lot of negativity around boxing nowadays, so I try and stay positive.
Well, it's interesting because when I asked people earlier this week which fight you were looking, excuse me, please. When I asked people what fight they were looking forward to the most everybody was saying Jack versus Stevenson, but that one might end early. 4th round knockout or something like that. Something very disappointing. So maybe Russell Jr. is the best fight on paper. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, in terms of longevity, like how far it could go, yeah, it definitely is. I feel like Stevenson, because obviously I wasn't on the show earlier on, but I said it I think earlier in the week. No matter how much Stevenson gets slated, he can put you out any time in the fight. So.
Yeah, we're gonna see about that. And by the way, since we were talking about that's Stu in the chat. He's bringing up the royal wedding. We haven't even talked about the fucking royal wedding. Ugh.
No, thank you. That was good, man.
If we have time for 30 seconds just to to get your thoughts on that, but I don't think we're gonna do that. By the way,
Meghan Markle, man. I was going to say Meghan Markle would get absolutely smashed. She looked unreal today, mate. If I was Prince Harry, mate, I'll be making sure she ride me every fucking night. Let me tell you about that.
well, Pavel brought up the good point the other day that if you're gonna get married, try to get yourself a piece of young ass because her time is expiring. It's not a good investment. Let's just put it that way. Or then again, maybe they, but then again, maybe they love each other. So I don't know.
It was definitely a diverse wedding. We had a black choir, we had a black pastor, we had a black bride, and we had a horse called Tyrone who was pulling up.
What? The fuck?
The horses were white. The horses were white. The horses were white, bro.
Yeah, his name was Tyrone. So
the slavery never ends.
All right.
You're riding 6 black horses when she comes.
All right, listen.
She looked real, man. I was with my mate at the time, and I said to her, "Look, fuck, she is smashable." You know what I mean? Couldn't really see her ass in her dress, but I'm sure she's got a decent ass.
Not for long, man. Not for long. It's not a great investment. Let's just put it that way. But you know what?
Wait, did he really marry an older lady?
Yeah. Well, she's gonna be 40 soon.
He's 33. She's 36. Not really that difference. But...
no. He's a prince. He shouldn't settle for that.
Cameron,
no,
absolutely. Cameron, the question is, would you eat that?
Nah, man. I mean, do you know what, man? Nah, man. It's too experienced for me. You know what I mean? I like a little fresh one around my age. You know what I mean? Like a real fresh one. Not someone who's been experienced, been taken up the last few years.
I see.
All right. Listen, I just wanted to get back.
Stu, did you punch the wall when you saw the black wire?
No, I thought they were good. I was just to be honest with you, the whole country was horrified by the black pastor, the American pastor, bringing up slavery in front of the Queen, the princes. It's a wedding, and it's not appropriate place for that sort of talk. Obviously, with that discussion has to be made, but not at the fucking royal wedding and at the whole country. Well, not the whole country because the Liberals loved it, but a lot of the country are absolutely disgusted in the American pastor. And a lot of people say actually ruined the whole ceremony, but I wouldn't go that far. He did have some good points, but when he starts talking about colonialism and slavery, and when the Queen's there and it's a royal wedding, it's a bit, you know what I mean?
I'm disgusted by the fact he married a 36-year-old woman. In 4 years, she will be 40.
Absolutely, that's my fucking point. He's gonna get cocked. I mean, he's a divorcee for fuck's sake.
How old is he? He's got to be 33, isn't he? 34.
That's why he gets himself a nice 28-year-old.
That's right.
She's 36 and fertile, bro.
I tell you what, Will's had the right idea, didn't he? But I think Meghan Markle's a very attractive woman. I think she's very nice.
Oh yeah, she is.
With all that makeup, yeah.
No, she's a nice looking girl, man.
Yeah, she is.
But he can do better than somebody who's 36.
People say she's going to age, but they think a bit of surgery won't sort out, and they've got plenty of money, ain't they?
But why waste the money if you could just not do it?
I saw the pic of her. I'll smash that.
Yeah, man.
Listen, I think we all would, but we're not the Prince of England, are we?
I'm the Prince of BDA.
It's just like I said. I mean, it's just funny how a lot of this wedding's been made about race, isn't it? You know what I mean? Race has come into a lot with this wedding. Who's
been doing that? It's two white people getting married to each other.
Well, like I said, it did. But when I saw the wedding, I didn't think, oh shit, man, there's a fucking black woman in Windsor Castle. She's going to be in the royal family. Nah, man, I didn't think that at all. I was just thinking, yeah, she looks all right. I'd definitely bash her back doors in. It doesn't bother me. Do you know what I mean? But when you look at the Americans, it's all about first black princess in the royal family. But when she's not, there's been other black princesses in the royal family. I think Princess Charlotte. I think Princess Charlotte from the 1700s. I think her name was mixed race as well. So she's not the first black princess, but it's been made a big deal out of. The liberal media have made it all of it. Look at CNN. Go on their Facebook page. The whole wedding was made about diversity and race, and it's not about that. It's just about two people getting married, isn't it?
Stu, where's the wedding? When's the wedding?
It was today.
It was today,
bro.
Oh man, I was invited though. You know, I just.
Do you know 2 billion? Do you know 2 billion people watch that wedding? 2 billion
losers.
Hey, listen, man, I watched that.
I was one of them. I was one of them losers.
So was I, man. I was about to say I watched that wedding, man. I'm fucking glad I did, man. Just getting said, I like Meghan Markle. I wasn't interested in all the vows and shit. I was just looking at Meghan Markle's face.
I should have came there with a.
He's not even a legitimate prince. He's a bastard. So
one of the greatest heists of all time that woman has pulled.
I'm like, I should come there like Prince Charming and shit. Take over.
Before you know it, she'll be in the bed with Joshua.
Hey,
Jesus Christ,
guys,
man.
be careful, man. I've learned. I've had friends from the UK. You can only push the fucking rag in the royal family so far before they lose it. I'm just joking.
Did anybody see the royal wedding?
No, man.
I caught part of it on TV.
When was that?
It was today.
I
We're
didn't know
just
that,
talking
man.
about it, man.
It was great.
All I gotta say is,
have you just missed the last 15 minutes?
One at a time, man.
All I gotta say is, God save the Queen.
Listen, man, you're not British, man.
Doesn't she have like 5 years left on the earth?
Man, you don't want to get killed, man. Come on, let's.
Oh yeah, but John, man, you're an adopted British brother to me, so yeah.
Definitely.
I just wish Americans would stop bringing their tatty fucking racism bullshit into everything that someone tries to do. So, I mean, England's a different country. We don't get up in the morning and think, right, what can I hate the black man for? What can I hate the white man for? It's just not like that. So just let two people have a wedding, man. Fuck's sake. I mean, it's all over the internet. It's just been, it's got tatty.
Yeah, like I've noticed that difference between African Americans and those in Europe. That I mean, there's that much of an animosity in there, and they don't look everything through race lenses. And I just don't know. Apart from that, there, African Americans have a higher degree of white DNA in them because of of the history. But those guys in Europe, they're straight out from Africa, and I don't know, they just don't have the same sort of mentality that whites should be ashamed for 200 years of fucking slavery or something.
Yeah, I don't think there's a different mentality in Europe, but I don't think blacks are getting targeted by the police and things like that. You know what I mean? So there's there's no really history. I know Britain's got a bad past, but there's no history of us actually bringing slaves like to England to do all that dirty work and fucking. There's no sign of that. There's no sign.
Most of
the slaves that we had were in fucking working in other countries, and basically. It's just most of the blacks we have over here have come on their own accord. They've come through the Windrush when we lost loads of men in the war. We had to bring over immigrants to help build the country.
Yeah.
So a lot of blacks come over from that, and obviously through Africa, through the wars, they've claimed immigration. We've not it's a bit different with Americans. They were brought over there, and the black Brits weren't actually brought over there. They actually came on their own accord. So they can't be as bitter. And I just don't.
Stu, how many men did the British lose in World War II?
Well, fucking hell, you talking.
You can't obviously actually give the exact number, but approximately.
You got to remember, right? It's not just about how many men you lose. You lose a generation of your strongest men from a young age, from like 18 to 30s. The prime men in their prime, and if you lose 1 million of them. I'm not saying that we lost that. We lost hundreds of thousands of men. Let's put it that way. And, that's why we didn't have no working men. We didn't have the people that stayed behind weren't fit to go to war, so they're not really fit to work either. So that's why we brought in a lot of the immigrants. We're a bit different with them.
I heard Americans, we lost about 100,000.
Yeah, America. You got to remember, Americans would come in 3 years later. Do you know what I mean? I think.
Like in 1944 in France, really.
I mean, the Americans, let's be real, the Americans were a big help. They were, let's be real, because we'd have struggled without them. But they came in 3 years afterwards. So we took a lot of damage and lost a lot of men before the Americans come to help, sort of thing.
I studied.
Hold on. Let Drippy stop.
I'm just gonna say one thing. I've noticed that in World War II, and I've studied history in my high school pretty extensively, is that American troops were highly adaptable. They learned very quickly to what environment should they adapt, and that's just what I'd like to say. And I think Jimmy should.
Yeah, let Jimmy talk.
Well, I know I took history when I was in school, but the UK, counting its colonies during World War II, 47,700,000, counting all its colonies. As far as the country, it was only second. It was third behind Germany, Russia, Germany, and then I think the UK. UK lost like 4 million men. They lost a lot. But I know but counting their colonies, India, Australia, Canada got wiped out. Canada lost over 1 million men.
I think 4 million people. I don't think it was 4 million men, bro. I think it was 4 million people.
I know the UK. I might be thinking I'm German, but the UK. I know that was the one statistic I know I'm positive on. With its colonies, it was 47 million.
Yeah, with the
That's
whole
a lot of
Russians estimate 20-40 million.
Yeah, the Russians lost the most. The Russians lost the most. I think
the Russians broke the back of the Germans, bro.
And Stalin matched that on his own.
Yeah,
you want to be honest, you know what I mean? He fucking starved out. I mean, and he would sit there and say it with a straight face. He would tell, when he told the fucking British Prime Minister, Churchill, right to his face, when he asked, well, what happened to the Serbs and this? He's like, oh, we killed them. Just because he wanted to judge his reaction. And they said Churchill didn't even blink because he knew that he was doing it to test his reaction. But he killed millions.
Churchill was doing the same shit all over the damn world.
This is the argument.
I was going to say something, Stu, on the topic. Some Twitter account has just tweeted. It's called Now This. He goes, the hashtag Royal Wedding was a beautiful celebration of blackness, and the internet is applauding.
Hey, I'm looking at this Meghan Markle chick, and she is really average.
But yeah, this topic though is what me and Precise have been preaching for years now. This is the reason why the Americans dominated boxing, for years and years and decades, because Europe lost a lot of its best man in the war. You know, so
fighting men.
Yeah. So we didn't have we lost, and when you had the Soviet Union that wouldn't fight professionally. You had a whole look at the size of the Soviet Union and look at the men they produce. So the Americans were basically fighting amongst themselves and a few bum Brits here and there. So what's the truth? You know, you got to keep it real.
I didn't catch that until I actually saw one of Precise's videos, and I was like, "Oh shit, he has a point there."
Yeah, but Precise knows I've been saying this for a while too, because I remember him mentioning it in one of his videos that I said it. So,
it's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
No one really mentions it, right? Because it was, well, let's just keep it real, white people dying, so it ain't that big a deal. Celebration of blackness.
Just wait until X comes around. You just wait until X comes around.
Yeah, I'm looking at the wife, and she looks real average to me.
I'm surprised the liberal universities ain't preaching to us what a great man Hitler was, the amount of white men he killed.
First of all, she looks more mestizo than fucking mixed with black. I don't know.
Yeah, but her mum was there, bro. Her mum's black. You can tell her mum's black, definitely.
All right, Stu.
Wait, time out. Her mom is
Stu,
black.
Go on, 3P. Go on, Jimmy.
No, I was gonna say it was 450,000.
Yeah, I said
490,000 for the actual UK in World War II. So I just wanted to say that. So yeah.
Yeah, I said a few 100,000, didn't I? Yeah,
yes, you did, sir.
When you said 4 million, I thought, cooking out, that is
which is a lot for an island that big.
Well, it is.
You know what I mean? You guys, you know, that was an ugly thing. But all right, I just wanted to throw that in there.
We were lucky. We're surrounded by water because it's a lot harder to take an island than it is open land. Europe was fucked because the Germans were just steamrolling through Europe, where they had to beat us in the air first.
Yeah, the Battle of Britain. Yeah.
We've got
Britain, which suffered a lot too.
Yeah,
plus
we've always
had dropping over London.
Yeah, well, we lost thousands of innocent people in their homes through the bombs, but we had the best air force in the world for me.
Spitfire, man.
Hitler had the best air force. He fucking has UFOs, man.
Oh yeah,
he just took it easy.
In Antarctica, man.
No, this was in an American paper. They came by the White House right at the end of the world.
Oh yeah. Oh, that makes sense.
This happened.
I know. I saw the video.
The Germans had the best technology. Everything. They had everything. The tanks were better. The machine gun. It was that they would used to play it for the troops back at Paris Island for the Marines because they had that 88. Oh, it just sounded like it scared the fuck out of you. Our machine gun, the M60, was like dug, 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 dug. I mean, everything they did was better.
And they had the first jets.
That's why I only drive Mercedes. Only Mercedes.
That Spitfire was different class, mate. That Spitfire had a Rolls-Royce engine in it, and fastest plane during World War II, and that's probably what helped us win the war. That Spitfire. So for me, I'd have to say the Spitfire was a better plane than the German plane.
Yeah, the Germans came up with a lot of innovations, a lot of stuff like the rockets and shit that we see nowadays. The idea of the rocket was just for them.
They just didn't get a chance to finish them properly. They didn't get a chance to finish them properly because they were losing too many men, sort of thing, and losing ground. But they had some great. If they could have hung on for another couple of years, then they would have been.
Oh yeah, they would have won.
If they would have just stood up to Hitler, but he was smart. He killed all the brown shirts back in the late 30s, and he took it over. And everybody was so afraid. And the top generals knew it was a clusterfuck. There's two guarantees in life. Well, I forget what the other one was, but you don't get in a land war in Asia. You can't take over Russia. It's too far. Listen, any idiot can talk battles. It's logistics what wins wars. Supplying 200,000 soldiers, you know what I mean, 3,000 miles from home. You stretch your line so far. Every general knew this is a mistake. You cannot do this. But they were so afraid of them. So they opened up a two-front war. If they would have just kept the fucking Russians happy, not attacked, Russians would have gave them the ball, you know what I mean, the land for the fields they needed. If they would have just, I'm telling you right now, that would have been a different income. People in fucking Paris would be, you know what I mean, eating strudel.
Yeah, Hitler made a lot of errors, tactical errors in that war. If he'd have listened to his generals, the Germans would have won. But Hitler's ego kept taking over, and he kept trying to bite off more than he could chew. I mean, you don't go and fight the Russians in the middle of their winter when it's minus fucking 30 degrees.
Well, they thought they were going to win before winter. That was Operation Barbarossa.
Yeah, but you don't. When you go to war, you don't predict a victory.
Because they saw. My bad, Jim. Because they saw socialism as a weak thing that they could destroy because it's broke. They saw that Russia is broken in political standard, so they thought it was going to be an easy wipeout. That was their plan, but that was Hitler's mindset.
See, Hitler underestimated the people's fear of Stalin. He didn't think people would march to their death. He was that. I don't know if you guys ever saw that movie Sniper with that British actor. It's great, but it was a true story. When the soldiers were arriving to defend Stalingrad, they were handed one rifle for two guys. When he dies, you take his soul. You know what I mean? Like imagine showing up at boot camp when the man next to you dies. So they didn't give a fuck. It was just through attrition. They just kept coming. And then how do you beat a people who are willing to shoot their own people if they retreat? So as you're running towards the Germans, the guys behind you are setting up their machine guns. So if you turn around, they're going to shoot you. I mean, so that's what they were up against. The Germans, they were fucked. And they, you know what, out of 1 million men they captured or 900,000, only fucking 4,000 made it home. Oof. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go. No, I was just going to say, like you're saying, the Russians are defending their homeland. They're going to fight with more hunger. Now you have Germans who are thousands of miles away from their homeland. I mean, like it's not the same mentality. That morale, it's not the same as the Russians, man.
Do you know the Russians had more soldiers than guns? What they used to do, they used to get a row of soldiers, and then they'd have a man running behind him in the same direction. When he got shot, the man behind him would pick up the gun. That's how they used to fight.
Actually,
that's
guys,
bravery, man.
Yeah, actually, guys, if I would recommend something, I know Jimmy before mentioned the movie called Enemy at the Gates from 2001, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'd say that.
Is that Jude Law?
Yeah, that's Jude Law.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Brilliant.
And what I would recommend you guys, this movie, from my my opinion about that is pretty historically inaccurate in terms of the whole image that they project. What I would recommend you guys is that there is a one movie, I believe it's from 1995, and it's called Stalingrad, right? And it's made by the Germans. And like, if I had to recommend anybody watch about Stalingrad anything, it would be that fucking movie. So just write it down, and go and watch, because it's.
I'll check it out, man. I'm into that stuff.
I think I told you guys before, right? That Stalin didn't know whether the attack was going to come first from Germany or Japan, and if both of them attacked at the same time, would have been they would probably lost the war. And then when they found out about Japan was the first one to attack, they attacked Japan and they destroyed Japan's. Till this day, the Japanese don't have the islands they took away from them.
Yeah.
And now afterwards, they had to bring all that Red Army across all the way from the western side to the eastern side, where the Europe side is at, where Germany first, was trying to come in.
And actually, boxing. Yeah, go ahead, Stu.
I was going to say my granddad's brother he was a prisoner of war with the Japs, and they fucking took his soul, man. When he came home, he was never the same man. I used to think he was a bit of a weirdo. I didn't like him. It's only when I got older and understood what he went through.
Stu, did you say your grandfather was a prisoner in Burma? Did you say during World War II he was one of during the march?
No, my grandfather's brother was a.
He was a part of it. He was a Japanese. They went through hell.
They tortured him. The guy was just a fucking weirdo. They took his soul, man. And when I was young, I used to think, I don't like that guy. He's a weirdo and that lot. But as you get older and understand what he goes through, you know what I mean? You change your mind about him. He's dead now, but they fucked him up, man. Trust me.
Well, Japanese were fucking nuts, man.
Well, they didn't like, especially if you were tall. If you were tall, you were targeted. The average height was probably 5'6" Japanese soldiers. So you got these Brits and Americans with 6 foot 6'1", and the Japs just targeted them. They would fucking beat them with bamboo. And if you fell during that march, if they were marching you somewhere, and they purposely fed you shit to give you diarrhea and dysentery, and you got mosquitoes bite you all, sores, and they were horrible what they went through. Mentally, like you said, the fucking surprise the dude didn't hatchet people. I couldn't survive that shit, but.
He used to do this funny thing with his mouth. He was like a fucking squirrel chewing on a nut. It was really
Imagine
weird.
The shit he saw. Just seriously sit back and think of the fucking nightmares that dude saw on a daily basis.
That's why I feel bad. That's what I do. I feel bad really looking back, because he was my great uncle, but I never really had a lot to do with him because he was a bit of a weirdo. But because I didn't understand why he was a weirdo.
You were a kid listening to U2 and fucking partying. You know what I mean? And knuckle deep on some teenage chicks, man. You couldn't relate to that. How could you? You know what I mean? That takes
And by the way, I don't understand one thing. Why is everybody talking about PTSD from Vietnam veterans and not from World War II veterans? I mean, it's just I've noticed that big discrepancy in research.
No, they do talk about it, man. It's just the difference is they had a different name for it back in the day. It was called
back in the day it was
shell shock.
Or it was don't go by grandpa. He said grandpa's having a spell. That's what they used to say. I remember because I'm old enough to remember all those guys. You know what I mean? All the World War II guys, and never mind the Vietnam guys. I remember them coming home as the same thing.
Vietnam days,
I heard
Grandpa's having another war. Grandpa's having another war flashback.
Yeah, well, so what they did to Vietnam guys. Well, see, even with Afghanistan, they send them home all together. They let them cool down mentally, put them on a boat all together, and they take them home together. So it's kind of that whole mentality. In Vietnam, they tried that. What they did, it was even worse. They found out. Imagine, so you're in the bush, you know what I mean? All of a sudden, your sergeant taps you on the shoulder. Dude, you get your orders 2 weeks early, whatever. You get on a chopper, spend 1 day in Saigon, and then you're back to a flight home. So you could be literally Thursday thinking you might die. You're in the bush. And then Saturday, you're eating fucking Cheerios, watching cartoons. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And then they wonder why a lot of those guys were having a hard time adjusting. You know what I mean? So
my granddad was a tank driver in World War II, and he was in them sort of environments. And have you ever heard of the Gurkhas, bro? They're like from The Gurkhas.
Yes, I have.
Nepal.
They're from Nepal, and they're one of the best fighters in the world. But they're like guerrilla warfare fighters. They're only small guys, but they'll hide in the bushes for days on end, or breathing through a fucking bamboo shoot, Rambo style. That's what they do. And my granddad was telling me, right, that the British soldiers had to wear tags on their boots, so when they was walking through the terrain, these little fuckers wouldn't pop up and to cut their throats. Do you know what I mean? They had to have tags, special tags, so the Gurkhas knew they were British. They'd leave them alone when they're walking by, sort of thing. This is the sort of environment they was in. And my granddad was saying he had to do watch one time. He was doing watch, and he said he had his fucking gun there, and he was shitting his pants, and he said he was really aware. He was looking around, couldn't see anything. Next minute, he got a tap on his boot, and there was a fucking Gurkha just putting his thumb up to him to just say, "Look, I could have had you a long time ago. You didn't even know I was there." Do you know what I mean? That's the sort of fighters they are.
Yeah, I think that it's interesting because from what I've heard from a fellow Brit, that Gurkha soldiers and Sikh soldiers are very well respected in British Army.
The Sikhs are warriors, bro. The Sikhs are tough guys, man. They're warriors.
Yeah. Well, can I just say one thing to you, Sue? My younger cousin, she's my second cousin. She married this kid, Nate. He happens to be a Navy SEAL. He's been one for like 11 years now. I don't know him all too well, see him at funerals, whatnot. But one time I asked him, who do you respect, of outside the SEALs? And right off the rip, he didn't even hesitate. He goes, UK Commandos. He goes, those boys don't play. So I just want to say, he threw you a mad shout out there.
Yeah, the SAS, the British SAS, are probably the best fighting force in the world because they're all rounded. They do terrorism, they do jungle warfare, they do mountain warfare. They're the ones that went in. When the Iranian embassy took over. Can you remember that?
Yes, sir.
And and them guys in the black come flying in and took them out in about fucking 30 seconds. Well, that's the SAS. They are the best fighting force in the world, but you don't know about them. They're not the sort of guys that you're gonna say, "Oh, the SAS are coming." You don't know they're there, so it's a very secret organisation. Them guys get. Well,
they don't even go by rank. Like you can be, if you're in that organization, you could be a general, you could be a private. You treat each other the same. It just, They don't do haircuts. They don't have any of that bullshit.
I know a guy in the British Army, right? And he's quite high up and quite a very strong man, very tough man. And he said the Americans, right? He goes, they've just got incredible ability to take pain. He goes, they are the craziest soldiers out there. But the problem with Americans, sometimes a bit too gung-ho. They don't use the brains and just fucking go flying out, don't they? But he reckons the mental toughness of the Americans, he goes, you could sit there fucking torturing them and they'd love it. They're fucking nuts. But there's more to being tough. There's more to being tough and nuts than
the thing is you can't say which one of the SFs are better than the other, because I know Israelis, they got some sick shit.
Yeah, I know.
Israelis are great too.
Yeah, but the
Israelis are great. The Russian shit. Royal Marines, I have total respect for.
Who do you think train the Israelis? Who do you think train the Israelis?
I'm guessing the Royal Marines. I don't know about that one.
SAS training. So these guys. True. Yeah, so these guys are the best. But like I said, you just don't hear about them because they're not going to sit and they're not going to tell you about their war school.
The thing is with the SAS, the Israelis, I don't know what their shit's called. I forgot.
Israelis intelligence. With Israelis, it's all about intelligence. Their intelligence is the best in the world. They know things about everybody. They're fucking ahead of everyone when it comes to.
Well, can you imagine? Think about their borders, bro. Right? They're surrounded in all for 360 degrees by everybody who wants them to die on a religious level.
Exactly.
And on top of that, they think they still. You know what I mean? So you know what I mean? I can imagine. That's how they have to stay alive. They have to have the best intelligence, and they do. But can I say one thing about you guys were mentioning the race topic during that wedding today? That's because, listen, it's become such a hot topic here in the United States. They want to, it's stored to everything. It's become they wield it in a political sense now. It's crazy. The pendulum swings, gentlemen, in this, you know what I mean? There was a long time, the blacks had it horrible. None of us white people can relate to what they've gone through, what they still go through, what sometimes they're perceived as. But I'm going to be honest, and I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. It's swung the other way. Now black people can stand on stage, make fun of white people. You can make and then when they talk like us, they can. But could you picture a white comedian now going, "Oh, what's up?" They would get crucified. It's right now. It's ultra sensitive. You can't say nothing. It's going to swing back eventually. But right now, yes, it's a hot. And news stations are jumping on it. It's gone fucking overhand. So I just try to pump it out. And that's why I didn't really watch any of that, because I could see the direction. Once I heard, I'm like, they're really going to bring that to this? You know what I mean? Really? And so that's why I checked out.
That's exactly what I was talking about when it came to MGTOW. First it was women who were oppressed, and now it's the men who feel all oppressed. It's just the pendulum always swings, and it's always fucking divide and conquer. Basically, people always at each other's throats when you know what it is.
Can I add one other thing too? I'm sorry, but I just want to add one other thing before I lose connection here. And you know what they talk about? And listen, slavery and slave trade was atrocious, right? It's appalling what they did. But I'll tell you right now, and the statistics are out there too, because they did studies. Majority of slaves weren't just, working and white guys jumped in the jungle. That almost never happened. What happened? You were already a captured nation. So if you were like the Zulu captured, they would constantly war and they would capture and kill. And if they grabbed the young people, if whoever they didn't murder, they would raise as slaves, and they would just, of course, the slaves would grow like cattle. That's how they treated them. And so they would bring them to slave traders, and the slave traders would show up to well-established cities, but it was black people selling black people to white people.
Yeah, a lot of people
Nothing's changed.
It would always be.
But listen, if you're gonna crucify everybody involved, and I'm not saying don't crucify the scumbag white people who did it, but don't forget and always end it right there, like white people brought us here. No, listen, we bought you off other black people. End the story. Exactly.
Look, a lot of the people that were brought to America were brought to a better life. Actually, that's how fucked up things were for them in Africa.
Because
they were prisoners of war, when they were tribal war.
When they were bought, they were already slaves.
Was it Archie Moore? Was it Archie Moore that went to Africa and then said, when he was getting on the plane, he said, "Thank God, the white man stole my ancestors and took me to America."
Yeah. No. It was Joe Frazier's trainer. Yeah, Archie. Was it Archie?
Life expectancy when you were a slave there and a male, I think it was like 3 years. When you were brought here, and I'm not trying to condone it again, I'm just stating fact. But usually it was the house mistress, the mother of the house, the white woman, as she would act as doctor, because it was counterproductive to let your slaves get sick and die. It was, and on top of that, they bred for stronger and they fed them well, and because they were property. And you know what I mean? I'm talking in a pragmatic style right now. So listen, they absolutely, their ancestors, what were still in Africa, had it a lot worse.
Well, it's interesting. I just want to say one thing about that, because everybody, like Jim hit the nail right on the head. This whole thing about slavery. If everyone, I hear some people on Facebook and on slavery. Let's remember slavery. Never forget slavery. Well, if you're so concerned about slavery, go to the Middle East now. Go to Libya after it fell apart. After they took down Gaddafi. It's slavery central right there. You can see the women being propped up and sold as slaves. It happens everywhere in Islam. What's it called? The biggest building in the world. It's in United Arab Emirates, right? I think they use slaves to build that shit. There's slavery in India,
in
right?
Africa. There's slavery in Mongolia. There's slavery in the former USSR in the depths of Siberia. There's slavery in America. I mean, look, when you got the Emancipation Proclamation, emancipation, by the way, doesn't mean freedom. It means change of ownership. When the Emancipation Proclamation came out and the so-called slaves were supposedly freed, what did they do? What happened? They started building prisons. And now you have the same thing going on. People are just slaves in prison for victimless crime, lots of them. So the people that were brought to America were prisoners in Africa. So not much has really changed. Only everybody became a slave actually, because white people, a lot of them, not everybody, but white people were actually free back in those days. But now everybody's a slave or a potential slave. You know what I mean? You could go to jail for selling marijuana. Like, what?
Can I ask something? Can I ask something, you people? Listen, my great grandfather died in World War II by German. He was killed by Germans, right? He lived in a western part of Poland, and his village got raided, and he got fucking killed in a barn. His barn was lit up in fire with other villagers, and they just died. And I'd like to ask one thing actually. Why should I be blaming contemporary German people, even though some of their ancestors were Nazis? Why should I blame them for the mistake of the past? And as a white man, why should I be feeling guilt for the rest of my life coming into America? If I had come to America, why should I feel guilty all the time by being fucking white for the thing that somebody did from my race 200 years ago? Why?
Because
why?
you know why, Pavel? You know why? Because peace told you to.
Yeah.
I know you only know. You're the only one who gets that.
Wait a minute,
It's like this.
You white? I didn't know that.
Pavel, it's like this, right? So if how they try to do that blame game for what happened in the past. So what happens when a white family suffers a tragedy from the hands of someone who was black? Should that white family then blame every other black people for that tragedy? Of course,
no.
You would be racist, and it's actually been proven fact, right? There was a court case where this family was robbed, and the daughter, or the son, I believe it was only 3 years old. No, it was a little girl. Witnessed it, and the child's mother said, you know, not only did he destroy my family, he destroyed my daughter's trust about how she feels about black people. Now when she sees black people, she gets scared. That judge berated that family. The victim.
Yeah.
Okay? The victim said, well, I hope you do a better job about this race. You know, in other words, I'm not going to try to quote what that fucking idiot said, but he definitely took her grievance. He definitely took her grievance that she was saying about this family, about what this perpetrator did, and he turned it into a race thing. Because all she said was, when she sees black people, she gets scared because of this scumbag. Okay?
Yeah.
And he berated her. So you see, it goes back to your point. It's a double standard. In America, it's a double standard, right? Look, I don't know what it was like in the 60s and the 50s or whatever. I wasn't born in that time. Since I've been in America, it has always been. Always, from my point of view, it's always been.
Yeah, you brought up a good point. Like from every race, you can have scumbags. You know, it's
since I've been in the States, the most racist people that I've encountered, the most racist people are black people, without a shadow of a doubt. And let's not forget. And if I say that, I'm ridiculed, right? I'm this and that, and mind you, I'm a child of from interracial, from an interracial marriage.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, we're Puerto Ricans, but my father was a man of brown skin. My mother was a woman of more European descent. You know what I'm saying? So,
Chris Rock says it himself, and he says it seriously in concert. He says, "You want to know who the most racist people in the world? Old black men." You know what I mean? He says
it's not even old black man.
I understand. No, it's across the board, without a doubt. It's an easy out right now. It's in card they play. Oh, race. It's become fucking. It's gone way too far. They're not doing their race any favors. Listen, every race has been oppressed. The Jews have been oppressed. I mean, everybody's been oppressed. You work your way out, and it's become. Listen, if you want to be separate, and there's races like. When the Irish came to the United, Boston area, there were signs, "We don't hire Irish." It was all over the East Coast. And then it was the Greeks, the French. But what happens? They work 1 or 2 generations and they bleed into the neighborhood. And then after a while, it's only till you hear somebody's last name. But if you want to have a race and you want to be completely separate in culture, you want to use words that only you can use, and you can use it in a term of endearment, in any way you want. But fuck, white people, you guys are not allowed to say this fucking word. It's just like, wait a minute. So it's like, fuck you. You want so much separation, and you want your separation acknowledged, but then we're not allowed to question. Listen. I saw something the other day. I don't even want to talk about it. It was on Twitter. It was terrible what they were saying, but it was just nuts. But anyways, I don't want to go too much of a rant because I'm old enough to see both sides of it. I'm old enough to remember when blacks really, everything was against them back in the 70s. You could start to see them come out of it. You know what I mean? You see the pendulum turning. And now, 30 years later, it's just gone to the point where it's too much. Now it's you say something that even perceived as racist, you get crucified on Twitter. It's like, fuck you, dude. You don't know me. You don't know anything about me.
The dumbest shit I've ever heard is black people can't be racist. I was like, what the fuck?
I remember Thunderdome. It was the Andre Ward. You remember the Andre Ward Kovalev too? So he posted up a video the morning after that fight, trying to show he was just trying to show photographic evidence that a foul was committed, right? And he got called all kinds of things. He was called a cracker, a peckerwood, all that stuff, just for.
And on top, yeah, no, it's ridiculous. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I didn't even know Mike.
I was done.
All right, well, guys, we're gonna have to go soon, pretty soon. So just
there was one. Salido, apparently he got arrested for stealing beer.
Oh yeah, we talked about that on Thursday. The fucking guys.
You guys have you heard of the Teofimo Lopez knockout? That ridiculous knockout in the first round.
Well, man, we're going all over the place. We're going from Salido to beer to Stevenson.
Well, he said Salido. It reminded me of Teofimo Lopez.
Man, boxing style. Do you have ADD, man? Is that what's going on?
I'm sorry.
Definitely.
Jeez, Louise.
I was saying that shit was a bullshit ass knockdown. I was about to say that last time around, but
I
didn't get the chance to say it. It was a bullshit knockdown.
I don't even know.
Knockdown. He's calling out Lomachenko and shit.
Ah, okay. Yeah, people are trying to discredit Lomachenko as well now. That's what I was reading on the message boards. It's some people are saying that since he got dropped,
took a dive.
Some people are saying that since he got dropped, he's no longer pound for pound, which is, I don't even want to get into that right now because we got to go. But Precise, I wanted to ask you, do you want to give your prediction on Russell Jr. versus Joseph Diaz Jr.?
I actually ran off for a second to check out one of his fights. I don't know what bum it was that he was fighting, but I was not impressed by the guy. And I thought Jimmy made a good point about Gary being in his hometown with his brothers on the card. So I'm going to go with, no doubt, the favorite and the hometown boy by UD.
UD? All right. So anybody want to change?
Let everybody remember that you cannot miss this fight because a Gary Russell Jr. fight is an annual event. It's like the ball.
And there are going to be 2,500 people there.
Whoa. Well, yeah. Well. All right. Well, we're going to get to that, man. I mean, anybody want to change their prediction, Pavel? Anybody? No. Well, I thought you were gonna change your prediction. By the way, you guys were talking about the army and all that. Yeah, it's pretty. Who's the best? It's pretty easy to talk war when you've never lived it. You know what I mean? I mean, I've seen some shit myself. Some of the shit I've seen. Don't really want to talk about it.
You're talking like my grandpa now.
They're coming from the back. They're coming from the back.
Just had a flashback. All right, listen. So nobody's going to change the prediction. That's fine. I think we can all agree that. Let me tell you something. We got fantastic fights tonight. Everybody that says out there in YouTube land, boxing is dead, blah blah blah. And the best fights never get made. We had 3 good fights total tonight. All right, we had Lee versus Selby. I mean Selby versus Warrington. We got 2 good ones tonight. Next week, the next 2 weeks, we're going to hit a bit of a slowdown, but then we're going to be back in June, the beginning of June, with Horn versus Crawford. So those are going to be some sensational fucking fights. So just to be clear, nobody wants to change a prediction either for the Stevenson-Jack fight or the... Yeah, by the way, John, I did get your prediction. So nobody wants to change their predictions for the both fights.
I'll say this. I'll say
shit.
this. If Jack doesn't get knocked out, he wins the fight. How about that?
No doubt.
I just want to say one thing before we go, man, because I've been checking out a lot of different boxing podcasts, but the whole panel on BDA lately, maybe it's just a fluke, I don't know, but like none of these podcasts pick fights like we do on this show, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Righto.
Well, we just started doing the picks, and that's the thing about picks. Everybody, the people that criticize the most, the people that make fun of other of people that make the wrong picks, it's because they're precisely the ones that don't want to make them, because that's what they think, that if you make a wrong pick, all of a sudden, ooh, it becomes like your opinion is invalidated, which it is to a point if you get them wrong all the time. But hey, that's what it's all about. You got to put it.
If everybody was right 100% of the time, you know what I mean? Why fight the fights?
Exactly.
That's the reason why these top elite guys get in, and you try. It sucks when it's actually better when it's hard to pick the fucking winner. You know what I mean? That's when it's exciting.
If we could get every fight right, we'd all be millionaires, because we'd put our houses on it if we knew it was going to get it right.
Yeah.
I always get it right, man. Every single time.
Yeah, every gambler says that. The thing with gamblers, they never announce their losses. They always let you know about their winnings. The thing is, yeah, I got a good win the other day, but what did you lose the day before?
Even when I'm wrong, I'm right.
Even when I'm wrong, I'm right.
I
used to tell my ex-wife. And then look where it got me.
Obviously, when it's a world champion fighting a bum, it's easy to predict. When you got two guys that are close in ability, then it can be it's a hard game to make money in boxing, especially gambling. You can make a few quid here, a few $100 here, and a grand here and there, but it's hard to make big money.
Stu, the amount of people, especially British people, these podcasts that are supposedly, top notch, and I'm not trying to diss or anything, but the amount of people, especially Brits, that picked David Hay, man, forget about it, man. It was kind of pitiful, and I don't think anybody on this podcast did, because
you gotta stop drinking. Stop drinking.
Stop drinking.
Can I say one thing?
The Selby one wrong. I think we all got the Selby one horribly wrong, but that was just.
I didn't know who was gonna win that fight.
Bro, Warrington beat the great Amagasa, bro. Come on, he did a better job than Guillermo Rigondeaux. What are people thinking?
Yeah, everybody does better than Rigondeaux, though.
He's gonna be a difficult man to beat, that Warrington, because he strongly throws a lot of punches, and he's quite educated in there as well. It's educated pressure. It's not him just flying in, swinging punches. He's thinking what he's doing, and he's not a knockout artist.
The trash talk before that fight was pretty funny too.
Yeah, they don't like each other. I was very disappointed.
He was like,
I said Selby was going to be a lot better than that. I thought he would be, but yeah, maybe the weight is troubling him.
Can I give my prediction on Gary Russell Jr.? I don't think I gave mine. I think it's gonna be.
Yeah, you did give it.
10th, 11th round TKO for Gary Russell Jr.
You said before, you said KO, so you want to change it to TKO then?
No, I didn't say it. It was one of my prisoners that said it. Sorry about that.
One of your prisoners? What the fuck is going on here?
Prisoners, what the fuck are you doing?
We've all been there.
Yeah, I thought it was... Who was it that had a...
boy over here.
Somebody had a basement with people. I thought it was Stu, the one that had people in his basement. Anyway, listen.
Stu does.
We didn't even scratch the surface about the Selby versus Warrington fight, because I wanted to get you guys' opinions on who would you rather see him fight, and the whole featherweight division, but we'll get to that tomorrow. We're also going to cover the Stevenson-Jack fight tomorrow, the aftermath, and the Russell versus Diaz Jr. fight as well. I want to thank everybody that showed up. Before I forget, because I want to thank the people that aren't here. Who was it? Cameron was here earlier. Kyle was here as well. Who else am I missing? Who else? Somebody here was here in the beginning. Fuck. Stu, was somebody else at the beginning that's no longer here? Am I forgetting?
Precise wasn't here.
Yeah, we've
Boxing Junkie.
We've got
Yeah, Boxing Junkie. Thanks. Shout out to
that guy that come off for Cameron. What's his name?
Cal.
Cal.
Yeah, Cal. So I want to thank those guys too. Thanks. Yeah, thanks to those guys. I want to thank everybody that's here right now. Stu, Reverse, Recognize, Precise, Pavel, Boxing Style, Jimmy. I'm going to put the link to everyone's YouTube or Twitter page in the description as always. Don't forget to check out their stuff. And if you guys want to leave now, I'm just going to thank the people in the chat room. So again, thanks again for your service.
I just want to say, everybody have a great night. Be safe. Always interesting conversation. You guys are all a bunch of sharp pricks. Have a good time.
Thanks.
You guys have a good night. See ya.
Yeah.
See everybody.
Everybody enjoy the fights. I hope you can make it tomorrow for the post-fight podcast where we discuss what happened tonight. And before we go, I do have to read a couple of things here real quick. Don't forget to show your support for this show by donating to Patreon. Small tips, $1, $2, $5, or in the super chat as well. You can do so. Every little bit helps. We're getting closer to that goddamn call-in show so we can take phone calls from people. I also want to thank everybody who's been listening and leaving comments, making this show as great as it is, our Hangout panelists as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel and to BDA Live. We still haven't posted shit on BDA Live in a while, but we are going to go back to that. The people
Sounds like my channel.
What's that?
It sounds like my channel. I haven't posted on there in like a month.
Yeah, things can get lost in the ether, man. Let me tell you, you gotta get that sorted out.
I think my next video will be one on Kovalev Alvarez.
Well, Teguchi also is fighting next, so maybe you could do one on that one.
Yeah, his fight is, I think, tonight.
Oh, is it tonight?
Maybe I'll just. They've had their Teguchi and Kyoguchi. They both had their weigh-ins.
Ah, okay.
Already.
So yeah, because it's probably tonight. Yeah. All right. So listen, Reverse, thanks for jumping in. I hope you can make it tomorrow. By the way, if people are gonna make it, the limit for the hangout is 10 spots, I believe. So get there early, otherwise you can't. We can't make any more space. That's the way Google Hangouts work. So I want to thank everybody in the chat room. Nice Kitty, Quincy Pinola, Aaron Cuco, Falpel Boxing, John Gonzalez, Mustache, Cash Stash, Weed Degree, Pop Tart Gun, Lasky, Michael Stott, Falpel Boxing again, Overhand. Carlos Espinal, who else? John Gonzalez was in there. Rodney Davies was there as well, going by a different name. Boxing Junkie, who is also in the hangout. The Quags. Who else do I have here? Come on. X, always keeping it real. Patricio Montenegro, Hotshot, Fight Scout, Overhand, Nav, ABZ, Boxing Style was also in there and in the hangout. The Punisher, Cameron Gillen, who was also in the hangout as well. Boxing Comments Club. You guys know who you are. Crypto Holy Fire. Thanks for being on the show, guys. Thanks for listening. Bring back Gaia, says the Punisher. Listen, it's gonna take over the world eventually. All right, so we don't wanna play a part in that. So we'll just leave it at that. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. We'll see you tomorrow, guys. Thanks a lot. Enjoy the fights.
Good night.
See ya.